city of Denver, the state of Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Let me start off with a Twitch feed this morning, and I got to get the whole name right. Mile High Hockey Lab.
The city of Denver, the state of Colorado, you guys have been fucking amazing for the last 10 years.
Let me start off with a Twitch feed this morning, and I got to get the whole name right. Mile High Hockey Lab.
Live from Spectrum Community Services Studios in Colorado, USA. This is the Mile High Hockey Lab.
We're off to a hot start because
Hello and welcome
go.
to the Mile High Hockey Lab. My name is Adrian Hernandez, coming to you live from my garage on here trade deadline day.
he got
I saw it from Chaos. I saw Chaos. Chaos had theirs in a garage, so I figured, why not? Let's do ours. Theirs is 24 hours long. Ours is like an hour and a half. So why not?
No, they didn't want to. Their wives didn't want to listen to them for 24 hours. Played
Yes.
bop
Yeah,
it.
that's also kind of what's
24
happening
hours.
here. So, well, folks, thank you so much for tuning into this Mile High Hockey edition of the trade deadline. We have some fun things to talk about. We also may or may not see the Avalanche do something, which we will be ready for in the event that they do. We will talk about it. I already have some of the trades written down over here. I'm going to fix my camera so you can see that a little bit better. And I might change kind of the view today just so we can really get the full environment that is my garage today, because, man, it's a great place to be sitting in front of a heater on this here trade deadline day. Ezra, Evan, Brennan, Jackie, thank you so much for joining me. We haven't talked since Tuesday, I believe. And since Tuesday, we've seen 2 trades. So let's start there as we anticipate any future moves here before the deadline, which is in exactly 55 minutes from now, 54 minutes and change from now. So
I thought
just
it was at 1
under
o'clock.
an
I would
hour.
say 25 minutes.
Oh, 25
Yeah.
minutes. Excuse me. 25 minutes.
You need to check your math, bro.
I gave him an extra half hour. It kind of works out that way, though. We'll see.
Well, things
Deals
will
come in
start
well
will
after one.
trickle in.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
yeah. So
I'm only on a caffeine fueled rage, and come on.
well, let's start there with
This
let's start with
I think we should
the
start with the
first trade.
ding. I think we should
Yeah.
start with the ding.
Oh, who's ding? Who am I forgetting?
My ding.
Oh,
worse
what was
than
your ding?
That's why she wants to start with that.
Let's hear it.
Brindley.
Oh yeah.
Brindley got sent down.
Yep.
Oh, well, yeah, like 2 seconds ago.
You scared the hell
Hey,
out of me
We're
because
collecting
I was
dings.
like, I know she said Brindley would either be traded or sent down, and I haven't seen anything about him being sent down.
But
So
okay,
I just about had to kind of
there's an asterisk to that. He can be pulled up in like 26 minutes.
But is
Yeah,
he
because-
really?
So when the deadline goes, your contract number doesn't matter anymore. Is that correct? You can have more than the 23.
You can.
I've
Have
been
more
being
than
learned.
23.
That started at midnight.
Well,
Okay,
it
so-
did. It did, but also, Brentley doesn't have to report. Where did he go? Brentley doesn't have to report. He doesn't have to play a game because that's the new rules for the AHL this year, and so he only has to be on the AHL roster in order to be eligible to be called up and sent down, and for playoffs. He has to be on the AHL roster at 1 o'clock, and then they can just be like, never mind, and then pull him up.
But the same didn't happen for Bardarkov.
Yeah, well, they haven't done it yet, but they didn't do it last year for Middleton, which is unfortunate because they could have used him during the playoffs at least last year. But and that's the reason why Middleton didn't play in the playoffs for the Eagles last year, is because he wasn't on the AHL roster at the trade deadline last season.
Well,
Word. Okay.
This is the Avs.
Good job, Jeff.
Yeah, this is the Avs.
All of that is true. However, we are talking about the Colorado Avalanche, who tend to do things kind of unconventionally at times, I guess we could put it.
I'm not going to use
or
the phrase I want to
hyper-conventionally.
use. But
I'm just intrigued on what Ado's setup is here with this whiteboard.
Yeah,
and
so I'm trying
situation.
he needs
to
get
get myself squared away over here. So don't you guys carry the show for a second. Talk about sending a first for Nicholas.
Bop it.
Nicholas
No,
Waugh.
it's not Bop It, Brian. Wrong thing.
I mean, trading
Waugh
first
trade
is always
interesting.
barf-inducing, but I mean,
Ugh.
But
Especially for a
they-
third line center.
they said goodbye to the future at least a year ago, so I guess
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. I guess just the question
Ah.
is, are they even going to be able to compete in 27 and 28? I know that, you know, the future's long
I mean,
gone.
is
but
Kel
I mean,
McCarr going to be here? I think if Kel McCarr's going to be here in 27, 28,
I don't
think
know.
we'll be
Look
all
at the Toronto Maple Leafs. You need more than
Well,
3 good players.
Apio just
Well,
got
they also
traded.
traded Marner. They also traded probably their best player without knowing it, which was Mitch Marner. So that hurts. I think that I think your concerns are legitimate. Maybe 2030.
No,
But
this
we'll know.
We're trading
crash
15-year-olds already?
this team just means that he thinks the window's longer. I don't think the window's
Yeah,
longer.
I
This
do.
probably is
Come
it,
on.
honestly.
And we just traded in a DU Pio just got traded, by the way.
Who would that be?
Interesting.
Massimo Rizzo.
Is
So as
he even an
everyone kind
NHL
of comes
player?
in, let's break down
Not yet.
what's happened already, my friends. As this is like some serious hockey guy stuff here. The hockey guy stuff here. I got my own whiteboard. Look at this. So we'll start February 24th at 10:52 a.m. We saw the Avs receive Brett Kulak in exchange for Sam Girard and a 2028 second round pick from the Colorado Avalanche. That was followed by a move on March 4th at 6:41 p.m. where the Avs received Nick Blankenberg, a defender from the Nashville Predators, in exchange for a 2027 fifth round pick. And then yesterday, we saw the Avalanche trade for Nicholas Waugh from the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for a conditional first rounder in 2027 and a conditional fifth rounder in 2026, with that first rounder in 2027 being conditional by top 10 protection. And that fifth, the condition is it will be the lowest of the 3 fifth round picks that the Avalanche have. And that leaves the Avalanche currently, according to what I've been informed on the internet, $6.94 million in cap space. And so I think the overarching question as we sit here in front of almost 800 people in the first 10 minutes of our show, salute to all of you, is what do the Avalanche do with that $6.94 million? Brendan, go ahead.
Well, I was like, you're not even looking. No, okay. But no, Burns has got to get paid out $3 million. Keep that in mind.
Sure.
They
Sure.
can push it to
Sure.
next year, though.
Yeah, they can.
They'd
move
have
it,
to
but
pay a
then,
penalty.
No.
They if they go over this year, they would
The
have
cap
to
penalty,
move it. Yeah, they it would affect
I
the
doubt
cap
they
next year.
traded Sam Girard just so they could pay Burns his money this year instead of next
I wouldn't
year.
be surprised,
Yeah.
honestly.
So-
and it would
Okay,
make
then
room.
I guess they don't want to win the cup.
Hold on. They
It
did
would
have
make
a deal
room.
in place for Kadri that fell through because Calgary didn't want to
They
retain
did.
salary. So they traded
Correct.
Sam Girard to make room
I
for
mean,
that.
I could tell you
happens
that
next
Calgary
is-
wasn't going to retain salary. If that's what they
Yeah.
actually thought was going to happen, then
But it would
Well, they
also
had
make
it.
room
misguided.
for
Well,
to
that's-
sign.
it was- Time out though. That's contradictory to the reports though. the reports are that Calgary was okay with retaining slightly, and then they weren't. They kind of
because
flipped the
ownership
script
said
in
no.
terms of
Teams
that.
don't retain.
Sure.
I mean, to retain half would be like what, $3.5 million for over multi-years. Teams just
Sure.
don't do that.
Yeah.
They're way too money panicked. It's just, if the Avs actually thought that was going to happen, and then, I mean, that's just mind-boggling, really.
So when you consider the Burns number, Jackie, are you then looking at this 6.94 and seeing it as 3.94?
No, because that
No?
was the plan all along.
Okay.
Was that they'd be able to push his money off to
To
next
the
year.
next year.
But then that's less than that they can pay someone else. But that's just the way I'm looking at it.
I mean,
I
whole
was saying
narrative
so
about
far
the
ahead,
deadline
ask
is
Evan.
that the sun is going to go out this summer. So you can't all of a sudden then be, oh, we're worrying about next year. We're going to, next year is now so important. Next year is not even in consideration when you're, all in and going for it. And obviously they have as good a chance as they're ever going to have. You're not all of a sudden being like, oh, we're worried about $3 million next year. They're absolutely not. That's just not the way this team operates.
They're not done.
Yeah, to me, the way I see it is they gave themselves the option, and if the right deal comes in where they spend that money, great, and if it doesn't, great.
Sure.
I mean,
Wonderful.
that's just so that would be just a mind-boggling strategy.
What about this though? So say they don't spend this money, should we then be hoping that the Makar contract could potentially be done in July?
It will
better
be
be
done in July.
So will that be an ultimate tipping point if they don't spend this money, and then July comes around and they also don't
to do with
pay Makar?
Because Makar's contract doesn't even start next year; it's the following year. So it has nothing to do with Makar's.
Sure,
contract.
but I mean, it does in terms of like a business and cash flow. Like you're talking
but
incentives
it's the next
when you talk.
Year.
Yeah, but I know, but if you're talking about pushing money into next year, right? Like we're talking
the
about
following year. Makar has one more year left after this year.
Well, they can
if he signs
sign
on
him
July 1st, it's for.
Do you get but would you get a signing bonus the day you signed, or would you get one when the contract
started? No, I think it's July 1st of the year that it begins is when you get your signing bonus.
Okay. So that's good clarification. If that is indeed the case, then yeah, there's no worrying about Makar's contract as it pertains to this.
The true deadline for Makar will probably be September 15th because that would be the last date I think that you could sign an 8-year deal. So if it's not done then you have to question what happened. But there's absolutely no way it's going to be done early in July.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's too much money, too many moving parts. Things don't come together. That kind of contract for that much money doesn't come together that fast. But if they can't get it done in 2.5 months, then that's a concern.
I think it does if you put a blank check in front of him, which may be what you should do. Just saying.
I mean, there probably is, but there's still a lot of things to negotiate.
Wait. Hey, interesting. Braden Shen just got sent to the Islanders. They're staying in the same hotel currently.
Just
it's
don't move rooms or anything.
Just go up to the next room, the next floor, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. What else have we seen around the division that is of note? Obviously, Tyler Myers goes to Dallas.
He ain't playing tonight, though.
Corey Perry going back to Tampa. That's an interesting one.
So Tampa's going to lose the cup.
To Colorado again. Yay.
Yes.
If we're talking more in-division news, this just came out from Bruce Garrick. I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
Garrick.
Sounds like the Detroit Red Wings have emerged as the frontrunner for St. Louis Blues defender Justin Falk. So St. Louis is blowing it up, which I think is probably the right thing that they should be doing.
These names are so boring. It's so boring. We're talking about all
Falk
these people.
Corey
Perry and Justin Falk. I mean,
Justin Falk
Jackie,
would end up being a third pairing then, right?
It's terrible. Yeah, it's like get excited about wasting all these assets for these players. It's just it's so much about buying reputation and big strong and leadership.
Detroit
and
has
old
been
and
so injured. It's ridiculous. I mean, they've been calling up players left and right, and I'm surprised that Grand Rapids has actually held the record that they have with as many call-ups as they've done. it's shocking.
All right, let's get back on some sort of track here though, because I want to go back to the trades that we've done.
Pull it,
Brendan. Shut up. And it's happened. We're 15 minutes into the episode, and I've told Brendan to shut up. Let's talk about the March 4th trade, which is Blankenberg for a 5th round pick. I want to talk about it because the Avs fans are infamous for not being a big fan of Sam Girard, who we saw leave for Mr. Brett Kulak, because he's a smaller guy and plays defense and doesn't typically bring kind of a prototypical body type to the position. And so the Avalanche went out and traded a 5th round pick for another guy who is 5'9", can skate pretty well along the blue line. I will say he seems on the surface a bit more physical than Girard, someone who plays a bit bigger than Girard, but I never thought Girard played small. So here's where I'm at with this, and then I'll let you guys take it. It felt like they couldn't go even 48 hours without having a smaller defender.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's kind of funny too. Someone on Twitter pointed this out. Sam Girard and Nick Blankenberg have the exact same birthday.
But are they the same height and same weight?
1998.
No, Blankenberg is smaller.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so I guess the overall position I'll take on this trade is that it's a good trade. It's a good deal, only for a 5th rounder. Like this feels like a better 7th defenseman than someone like Keaton Middleton or Jack Ashawn would have been. Sorry, Brennan.
I love Jack Ashawn.
It's a better guy, and he's having a career year. Nick Blankenberg, by the way, he's having a great year. I don't remember the stats off the top of my head, but he's having a very, very solid year. Now,
he has 21 points.
I still wish that Girard was obviously here, and I wish Kulak was going to be in that position that Blankenberg will be in as the 7th defenseman. But this is still a good move by the Avs. He can kind of slot in whenever he needs to slot in, and I think we've kind of seen that Kulak has been reliable on the defensive end to start his Avs career so far, and that's something that's at least in my mind better than I thought he would have been. So far so good there on that end. I think the defensive depth was always sort of a concern for Colorado versus trying to load up more on the front end, and I think that they've kind of addressed that with Kulak and Blankenberg. So I like the deal.
I'm fine with the move. Like, I agree that for the value for the 5th round pick, and that he's been fairly decent this year, and somebody that they don't need to have in the lineup all the time. So yeah, if you just look at the deal itself, I do think they found a good value move there. It's pretty hilarious after a whole week of like, oh, we only care about Big Strong and all this and that. Now Altitude's gonna have to hype him up. We didn't talk about it, but I definitely still disagree with Girard move. They made their defense worse. It's still worse. They really need a top 4 defenseman. They really needed to get one. And I think with the 2 moves now, they're probably set on defense. I think they have 2 third pairs. I think you're going to need better than Manson and Burns if you want to go deep in the playoffs. So I don't like the direction that they took the defense. I think it might even be a weakness at this point.
Did we get another deal? Something come in here? Something about Bobby McMahon?
I don't know. There were some rumors.
Well, there's been rumors all morning that the Avs are working a deal with them.
Okay.
So we'll see.
The Leafs, and that everyone's saying that they're going to give the last 2 seconds away, and it's like, the Avs hate their first 3 rounds anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, yeah, I mean, next year it's not like they're going to try to win the cup, so might as well just send next year's picks.
Well, and if you look at on Puckpedia, how they have like the boxes of the numbers for on the side of the screen where the next 3 years are, it's literally next year or this summer. There's no picks in the first 3 rounds. There's no picks in the first and the third. And then I think they only have 1 pick in each of the first 3 rounds of the 28.
No, they traded a second already from 2020.
Did they already?
Yeah.
See, I can't even keep track.
That was the Girard second.
Okay. And so, I'm waiting for that first. I'm waiting for that third, and I'm waiting for those seconds to go.
You really don't want to trade the 2028 first right now just because they're devalued. That far out, GMs value them less because that pick and that asset isn't going to make a difference for them. So they really shouldn't trade the 2028 first, not because like, ooh, they need to like keep it. It's just because you're already devaluing it. The further out you get, you're just devaluing the assets you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back to Blankenberg. I will say, like, I hear you, Jackie, on not upgrading the second pair. That is definitely something that we were talking about going into it. That was a concern. How well can Manson and Burns really hold up as a second pair? That being said, they have been pretty good. They have been pretty good. Yeah. So I think there's a question of both like.
When it gets real.
What it looks like against elite competition in the playoffs, but also against elite competition in the regular season to look pretty good. So there's reason for optimism. I don't see it as two third pairs. I see it as two like solid second pairs. Brett Kulak was playing second pair minutes everywhere he's been until he got to Colorado for the last like 5 years, I want to say, but could be a little bit less. But yeah, he's been a second pairing defenseman for a long time. And the way Malinsky's playing, it's hard not to see him as somebody who's on the rise. So on that front, I like it. And then Blankenberg, a funny description I saw of him was that a comparison to Gerard. Blankenberg is a guy who will go into every puck battle and try to win it, and Gerard is a guy who knows he's too small to win it, so he'll play smart.
I mean, there's been so many like insane narratives about Gerard and about justifying it and about what he was and like forgetting about the whole 8 years of history that he's had here. And I find it all ridiculous.
Well,
like,
I mean,
all
Malinsky did make. He kind of did.
That can be true. Gerard. That can be true though, and Ezra can be talking about what the differences between the players are and the reality of it. Because I think you're not wrong, Jackie. Like we're told over and over again that, hey, Gerard's too small. Gerard can't do this. But it's that isn't all what figures into a guy's play style. Like, and it's how being small plays in. I mean, Brad Marchand is small. Does he play small?
Marchand.
There you go, Brett. Does he play small? Because Ezra, you're saying that he's the kind of guy who will kind of pick a fight, whereas Gerard kind of took a more cerebral approach.
Yeah,
I mean, exactly. Do we not even remember Gerard had fights? Gerard had big hits. Like
I'm not taking anything away from Sam Gerard by
history about.
Well, I'm not talking about Sam though.
What he did, like if you're saying Blankenberg plays with a little bit of a.
What I was trying to say actually is that I think Gerard is more effective because he knows his limitations, and Blankenberg is a guy who tries to play through those limitations. Obviously, I prefer Gerard. I think I've been very clear on this show many times how much I love Gerard. So it is sad to see him go. But if they're looking for somebody who can be that small guy who can, I mean, you don't necessarily need a small guy, but a guy who can be a really effective puck mover in a pinch, that is still Blankenberg. He's just going to be maybe less effective defensively because Gerard was really elite at that.
I mean, Malinsky's the small guy. Not like he's exactly physical or hard hitting.
Sure.
I think Malinsky had 2 inches over him, but yeah, he's not weight wise. He's not very big.
Inches. He's listed at 5'11".
Well, the other thing that kind of concerns me though is this is like an easy thing to point to, and obviously Burns is on a streak of not doing this, knock on wood, but what if one of these guys goes down, and is Blankenberg really the guy that you want to spell in a playoff series if one of these top 6 defenders is down, which is why I kind of was hoping the Avalanche would bring in someone that would more AJ from DNVR described it as a greedy transaction, because maybe getting a little more than you need in 7D. But my biggest fear is that 2 of these guys go down, and then you have Blankenberg and some of the AHL guys we've already talked about in your bottom pairing in the second round against the Dallas Stars.
On the top line if you need to. Like, none of them can.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's
So
a
like,
I don't know.
concern.
I think Malinsky could.
There's no way they're playing him on the top pair in the playoffs.
If they had to, they would.
For
is
Sammy?
my thinking.
I don't
Or
know about
for
that.
Sam
They probably
Malinsky?
just do Kulak, but
Well, yeah, sure. Which I guess validates that addition, right? Because if they are in a pinch in terms of
because
that,
they have no,
at least
just
they know.
because they have nobody else. Like what Gerard
Well, he's
was,
also played with the big guns over in Edmonton for playoff runs as well. So I mean,
Yeah,
like
but their
he
defense
fits that
was
profile.
crap.
Their defense was actually good in the playoffs. They were terrible in the regular season, but they were pretty good in the playoffs. That's why they got to the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row.
I think with Kulak, you're looking at a guy who has the skating to keep up with anybody on this defense, and also the positional like soundness to be an anchor in a good way on a pair. He's obviously not. He's not elite. He's not Devon Taves. That would be a terrible. If you had to swap them, you're losing a lot. But he is capable. So you know he seems like the insurance for that pair, and then the insurance for the second pair is really Malinsky, and you go Blankenberg Kulak on the third pair if that happens, and if it ends up that two defenders are out, then you probably are calling up Keaton depending on who's injured, because you're not going to play Blankenberg with Sean. But
there's my greatest fear.
Yeah, so that is. But honestly, like if you lose Makar and Taves, you're losing no matter who you bring in. So what are you going to do?
Well, y'all,
well,
we
Makar,
have.
I mean,
Jesus
they should be able to
Christ.
survive not having Taves, but
We have a minute and 25 seconds to the deadline, and we have
Someone posted
2,000
Makar for
we
McCann,
have-
and I'm just like, holy crap.
yeah,
we
the
have
other
a minute
one.
and 15
No,
seconds
Kale
to the deadline.
Makar for McCann.
Let me
I was
spit this
like-
out,
Nobody-
Brennan.
serious
Brennan,
about
let me
that.
spit this out, my friend. What now? We have exactly a minute until the trade deadline, and the Avalanche still haven't made another move, but we have 2,000 live viewers right now. So thank you to the 2,000 of you for joining the program. Please head on over to milehighhockey.com, where you can find all of our written material. Head over to Hockey Mountain High, where you can see the written works of Mr. Brennan Vogt and Mr. Evan Liu as well. Jackie K is our fearless managing editor over at Mile High, so give her a high five and an applause. And you know what? Give yourself a pat on the back, because it's getting 2,000 people on trade deadline is why we do it on trade deadline, even though sometimes it's not always convenient. But to see the people come out and support and join the program is wonderful. Please pop into those comments. Let us know what you want to hear. If you have any questions, we will answer them as best as we can. And now we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Happy
The
New Year!
The NHL trade deadline.
I'll just pencils down is what
passed.
everybody says on Twitter, so I'll just say it.
Pencils down indeed, Jackie. All right. So I think we've talked Blankenberg, Gerard defense. Let's get into this Nicholas Waugh deal that we saw yesterday. Obviously, he's someone destined to slot into the bottom six. There's some debate between 3 and 4C. Most people seem to be leaning 3C, with Jack Drury going back down to 4C. Nicholas Waugh is a guy who played with Victor Olofsson on a Stanley Cup winning Vegas Golden Knights team. That was a team that was known for being pretty deep, specifically up the middle, especially the year before they won the cup when they still had Stevenson. So there's a lot to be had. Obviously, I think the part that hurt Avalanche fans the most was seeing this first rounder be involved, which is conditional with being top 10 protected. And then, of course, they sent a conditional fifth as well, with the choice going to the Leafs getting the earliest of the three fifth-round picks they have.
I heard it was the lowest. Did they?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the lowest of the three, but I don't know how to interpret
so
that.
many conditions.
Is it like
those three
lowest?
picks? It was ridiculous.
Is it lowest pick?
Yeah, it's
or
lowest number, so it's going to be the highest
lowest
pick.
number. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so highest pick, highest.
Really?
Of the
Whoever reported that's
three
an idiot
fifth-rounders.
then, if that's how they interpreted it, because that's not how that's interpreted.
Yeah, it's worded really poorly,
Yeah.
but that is what it meant.
Okay, yeah. So then that makes more sense to me. I'll open the floor. Well, actually, no, I want to start with you, Evan. Evan, what are your thoughts on this Nicholas Waugh deal. I know you had your eyes on some center depth, maybe some further up the lineup than this.
No, I think it was always going to kind of be someone in that, middle, like bottom six, basically. But I don't think Waugh was on my list or anyone's list, really. And I think that's kind of what the Avalanche have done in the last few years is go for a move that people aren't really talking about. We were all talking about Kadri and McMahon. McMahon could still happen for all we know if they got that over the line, in the last 2 minutes before the deadline closed. But well, I mean, I feel like he's solid enough depth. I don't know if he's any better though than Drury or Colton, if I'm being frank. I know that there's been a lot of issues with his season in I almost said Tampa, not in Tampa, in Toronto. And that he's
been
kind
having
of
issues.
Exactly, though. And that Toronto's had their own issues, and that he's a slower guy and might not fit best within the Avs system, but we just simply don't know until we know. And that'll probably happen tonight. It seems like he's going to make his debut against Dallas later this evening. The one thing that I do want to point out about this trade that I kind of find enticing is that he's a Stanley Cup winner. He was really good in the playoffs for Vegas when they went and won that cup in 23. And he was the centerman for one Victor Olofsson. That's right. And Olofsson was very good, at that time as well. So, sorry. Hold on. I'm going to break some news real quick.
Yeah, sorry. You probably saw exactly what I saw.
Bobby McMahon to Seattle. So not Colorado. So there goes that dream that I just said.
Then Ezra doesn't get the ding.
Love me again.
Ezra had Central. That's right.
I didn't want to interrupt Evan. So
that's right. I forgot that Ezra's prediction was that. But anyway, so again, Waugh wasn't really, I think, someone that I was, thinking was going to happen to Colorado. I don't think really anyone was, but
I actually had him in mind. I was even going to write about him. So he's definitely. I've been very aware of Waugh since he was drafted, because he was back from the heyday when the Avs actually thought they maybe would have prospects. So, I'm very familiar with him. He's actually somebody that I guess you could even say someone like. So I don't care at all what he did in Toronto. I'm very familiar with what he is as a player. So it's clear.
This one's got the Jackie stamp of approval. Then,
I'm not going to say the cost.
the player, yes. But the cost maybe. Okay.
Yes, because I wrote about McMahon, and then I even thought should I add Waugh in there too? And then I think the reason why I didn't is because he signed for next year, but obviously the Avs like that when they're spending that much. I even remember Bednar gushing about him when he was talking about Vegas's depth. I remember he even was talking about how great it was they have Nick Waugh and everything. So, does not surprise me at all. It's also clear with Kulak having a lot of playoff experience, and then Waugh does as well. That's what they were targeting. Yeah. So, if this is it, if that's the only upgrade they made to the forwards, I'm surprised because they do need more. I don't know if it has anything to do with Olofsson, unlocking some sort of consistency within him. I doubt it, but sure, I guess it's nice that they're familiar with each other. So in a vacuum, I like the addition. I actually like him as a player. I agree. We'll see how, if the speed is a concern, but they're just going to have him do a lot of heavy lifting and everything.
Falk has officially gone to Detroit for a 27 second and a 26 fourth.
Exciting. Nice. Exciting stuff.
Foligno going back to the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah, so he can play with his brother.
Yeah, going to the Wild for the first time. The other Foligno's already been on Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah. There you go. How dare they?
But if it's true, the narrative was we were going to spend this first on Kadri. We'll just spend it on.
Oh, and then
that's the thing. I got so much heat because I was as soon as they did what they did, I don't see them getting what we're talking about them getting without giving up roster players, without giving up Gavin Brindley, without giving up devalued firsts. And so when they got done with this Mr. Nicholas Waugh deal, to me, I was like, oh, well, they supplemented. Instead of adding in the middle of the lineup down the middle, they added another basically super good 4C, which I don't know how that exists, but it does. We've got two of them here in Colorado. two really, really good 4Cs, and either can play 3, probably going to be Wah playing the 3C. So I'm like, and then they got their 7th defender for a 5th round pick. And at this point, sure, you have money, right, to spend, but
they spent on nothing.
I don't
apparently.
know.
Guess we'll see.
You don't. You're a lot of fans are gonna be upset if they don't spend that money.
Yeah.
Well,
do we believe in the fact that some speculation out there about how the Avs aren't going to be able to sign Drury and that this was also moved to replace him?
Well, and I do want to remind everyone that trades, one, are going to still be rolling in over like the next half hour to an hour. Sure. And then 2, the AHL trade deadline is next week. So we are going to still continue seeing moves. Mm-hmm. But they're going to be people only on like AHL contracts. So
yeah, it'd be like dumping prospects they don't want anymore. That's
exactly.
What that would be.
So Jackie, back to your question.
Yeah, I'll jump in there. I mean, I think Drury has arbitration rights, which is something that teams want to avoid. So the logic, I in my head when I first heard this, I thought, okay, well, if they're going to get somebody like Kadri, and they want some cost certainty in the bottom 6, because Kadri is going to be very expensive, then it makes sense to move on from Drury, even though he's excellent, because you can find cheaper options at 4C that are effective. Not as effective because he's elite at it, but effective. That being said, I didn't want them to do that. I'm very glad Drury is still here. And I think the way that they've positioned this roster now, they do have the ability to afford him at what he's asking for. Whether they choose to pay him or not, that's still undetermined, obviously. But they have set themselves up to be able to pay him and avoid arbitration just by giving him a good deal, which I think is great. Because Nick Watt at $3 million as a 3C is a little bit underpaid, so you can a little bit overpay your 4C.
Well, it's better than $7 million for a 3C for sure. that they were looking at. So
Ryan Strome from Anaheim to Calgary, Mr. Frege is reporting as well. My whole thing with the Jack Drury stuff is Bednar's told us over and over again that like he's quote unquote like the perfect 4C, the prototypical 4C. So I think the ask was just to bring someone in who can allow him to be that. And I think that they've satisfied that, which is where I see them being okay with the give. Because I think if you look at that first, it's top 10 protected. First of all, something crazy would have to happen for that condition to come into play. And second of all, if the Avalanche win a Stanley Cup, obviously not this year, but next year, right? That 2027 is a 32nd pick. But I mean, even if they go deep, it's a pick anywhere from 25. I mean, projecting out, I think everyone has the Avs in the bottom 10 to 15 picks in the 2027 draft. So this isn't like trading away the pick you're going to use to get your next Nathan McKinnon. So I think that's why they were willing to give a little bit more, because they were just trying to fit a round peg in a round hole, and Nicholas Waugh achieved that. And so they said, yeah, whatever, let's do it.
But it's opportunity cost. That's the concern.
Sure.
It's not that the Avs are ever going to use these picks and have players from them. It's the opportunity cost.
Sure.
And I think if you look at the opportunity they have this year, the opportunity to go pretty deep in the playoffs, potentially all the way, is there. So you spend this year and you figure it out for next year. I think what they did last year with Jenner. Sorry, not Jenner.
Brandon, Brandon, you have breaking?
Oh, no, I thought I saw it. No, Trocheck did not move. Okay, sorry.
Okay, continue.
Trocheck did not get traded. That just came through.
If nothing really comes down, I'm not even talking for the Avs, I just mean in general, this has been a real undersold
It's what
deadline.
I tried to point to and got yelled at all day yesterday, which I'll admit my understanding of LTIR was 100% wrong yesterday. I've been informed, and I'm happy now to have a firmer understanding of how it works. But even with a lack of understanding of LTIR, the change in how it's being applied in the playoffs, I think is making these guys a little spooked out in a way that they haven't been before. And
I think it's more about the deadline space, because remember before, if you had like 1 million space, it could buy you a $4 million player, and I believe
it's
that
prorated, right?
Has that loophole has been closed, I believe. So to me, I think that might be the bigger problem, is that you can't get a higher price player for low cap
So the
numbers.
proration isn't a thing anymore. Am I learning
think
more
that's
today?
what I believe. That's what I believe, that they closed that loophole. So
I was informed by someone who's very passionate. His whole Twitter headline was that he's a collective bargaining agreement corrector of people online who get it wrong, and LTIR and
I
apologists.
know exactly who you are talking about.
It is.
Yeah, and he told me basically, because my whole thing was like, I was under the interpretation that LOC's contract technically was added to the top of the cap ceiling to make way. I thought that's how LTIR worked. I've been informed I'm totally wrong about that. It goes against the cap, obviously, and it's figured into this 6.94 million cap space that they had. I thought it wasn't figured into this, so I was like, okay, so they got to bring that 2.5. But even if they don't have to worry about it financially, where does bringing Logan O'Connor back to the lineup, what does this potentially not doing anything at the trade deadline tell us about Logan O'Connor's status, as we saw him skating with Landeskog after the Olympic break?
Yeah, I'm excited for LOC. I mean, he was on the ice, I think, today. Too, for morning skate. So, granted, I think he was in a white, regular jersey, but I think he's been in a white regular jersey for a little while now.
He's been in that for months.
So he's not like a true non-contact per se.
Right,
but,
it's still very vague, but it is
but
good.
I mean,
been consistently on the ice for a little while.
Yeah.
But they've been very vague about his return. I mean, I would have rather had a better forward than him coming in. I think they were able to spend the money. I mean, you kind of have like, I don't know. I know that they would welcome him back, but Parker Kelly is pretty much doing what LOC was doing, so you're not really missing it. You could say 2 is better than 1, but can 2? Are you really going to get? I mean, you're not going to get 20% shooting from both. So is 2 really better than 1?
I mean, I think he's a very good. Like, this is a good, I guess, acquisition if you want to put it off. And in that sense, I'm excited for him. It's the fact that he's joined the team. I don't think that's really happened at all yet. So I'm happy about that.
Practice? I don't think he's had like a real practice.
Well, no, not yet.
He's also leading the way, but we can be excited about it.
I wanted to share some news.
Here we go.
Old friend Jonathan Drouin, I guess, is leaving the Isles. I think he might be part of that.
The Shen deal.
Trade, it seems like.
Yeah, it sounds like he's the money to offset to keep them cap compliant.
So Jonathan Drouin then is back in the division. I know, sorry.
So he's coming to the Blues?
That's what it seems like, I think.
Man, now I got to root against Jonathan Drouin. That sucks.
Yeah, I've always liked Drouin.
It sounds
like the rumor was that before he signed the second time in Colorado, that the Blues had a nice contract offer on the table for him. So in a way that kind of doesn't surprise me then that that's where he ended up, because he almost
so it looks like for that deal for Shen, that obviously the Isles get Shen, and then coming to St. Louis is a lot. A first, a third, Drouin, and a goalie prospect.
Wow. And they didn't trade, and St. Louis didn't trade Binnington.
No.
Well, we're not going to see that goalie prospect for a couple years.
It depends who it is. It might even be nothing.
I haven't paid much attention to Springfield, so I can't say.
All right, so we have 3,000 live viewers right now. My goodness, thank you folks so much for making us feel special and choosing us for your trade deadline coverage with an Avalanche lean today. I'm Adrian Hernandez here with Evan Liu, Jackie K, Ezra Parter, and Brendan Vogt from the Mile High Hockey Lab. Be sure to share this with your fellow Avalanche fans and just hockey fans in general. I don't usually do them from my garage, but today I am, because it's the trade deadline and it's more fun in here. I got a heater going. Look at us. It's Colorado, and I'm just not taking no for an answer today, because it's trade deadline day, and that's what we do.
That Drouin first was our first. Just by the way, make it even funnier.
And Scott Lawton to LA.
Okay.
LA.
So
what are they?
So let's assume
what are the Kings doing?
Let's assume nothing else comes in
They
now.
don't have Fiala right now, so they got to make up for that.
Well, let's assume that the Avs do nothing, right? I sent out a post that basically said, hey, send us your voicemails and we'll play them on the show and make sure we answer your questions. So I got a few of those, or a couple of those, and I have one that I want to play for all of you now, and then we will answer. This is courtesy of one Matthew Rubio in Pueblo,
You
Colorado.
listened to him first, right?
Do you guys feel confident that this team can go out and win a cup?
Yes, I listened to them before, Brendan. Do you think I'm freaking crazy? What are you talking about? So let's play that one again. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit more.
Do you guys feel confident that this team can go out and win a cup?
That is courtesy of Matthew Rubio in Pueblo, Colorado. And I think his question is mostly, as this team is currently constructed, what is our confidence level that this roster is capable of winning the Stanley Cup? I will leave it up for grabs.
I'll go first, and I'll say yes.
Don't everyone go at once.
I mean, my answer was already yes, pre-trade deadline, and I know I've said it before that if the Avs made one or two small moves, they didn't really need to make a ton of moves, and I don't think they really made a big splash at the end of the day anyway in this deadline. If nothing else comes in, but yeah, I mean the answer is yes. When you have Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon, you're always going to have a great shot.
Is everybody else lose?
I think that's.
Is your Evan right now?
No, I hear Evan just fine. I think it might be you.
Yeah,
Aiden.
no, I heard him fine.
It's because Ado's in his garage.
Yeah, I think so. But
I mean, for me, you need more than two superstars. I mean, two superstars will probably get you a playoff berth every year. Beyond that, I mean, we're talking about that's not enough, right? We've talked about, or even winning a couple rounds isn't enough with the start that they have. I mean, they have a chance. The Pacific's weak. The East isn't great. Do they have a chance? Absolutely. I think it does set up for them where they have a legitimate shot at it. I mean, that part, to that extent, I would say yes. Do I still think this roster is good enough for the playoffs? I say no. And we'll see. We'll see. Maybe their opponents just break the right way and they don't really have to play anyone good. I mean, we'll see. I would have agreed with the doing nothing. You already have a great team if they hadn't traded Girard for cap space. Once you've done that, you can't straddle the fence. So if it really comes into they traded Girard for cap space and then they did nothing with it, you made your team worse. And so I think that negates from the whole your team was great and you didn't really need to do anything. So I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I still think they have trouble scoring, getting big goals and scoring from the depth. We've seen since January 1st, even the top line, McKinnon, Makar, haven't been as good. We'll see.
Well, for me, I think I agree with.
Sorry, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Am I gone again?
Jeez, can you hear us?
I could hear. I can hear everybody.
Yeah, I can hear him too. I just don't think he hears us. Okay. But yeah, I will say I think you
guys carry the show. I'm having some connection issues. Go on.
Okay, that's fine.
You can't hear us, but we got you. I think I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Jackie. But I do feel really optimistic. I think the loss of Girard is frustrating, and he's definitely like a beloved piece of the team, and that is bad. But I don't think that moving Girard for Kulak is a significant downgrade. I think Kulak's a really effective player, and I've liked him a lot since he's been here. He was one of my preferred targets for them to add to the defense. I just didn't think it was going to be at the expense of Girard. I thought it was going to be in addition to Girard, and certainly not at the expense of a second-round pick. But regardless of the cost of the trade, I don't think the roster is that much worse with Girard for Kulak swapped. And I really like Nick Waugh. I think that's an effective add. To me, it just comes down to, do we get the supporting cast production that we've gotten through stretches of this season in the playoffs, or do those guys fade away a little bit? I'm talking about Nichushkin, I'm talking about Brock Nelson, and I'm talking about Gabe Landeskog, frankly. Like, those three guys are really key for this playoff run, more than the superstars, because we know what we're going to get out of them. more than the goaltenders, because I feel like we know what we're going to get out of them. It's, do we have that secondary production on the top six? And I'm excited to see it. I think we do. But that's what it comes down to, in my opinion. I'm confident.
I think we got better because we got heavier on the blue line, as in terms of the regular six players. The back, the obviously that seventh D man is still going to be small, but we're heavier team as in terms of that. And then that fourth line,
Kulak's like 6'1", 200 pounds.
It's
it's
still 15 more pounds.
Byron's
It's still
listed
15 more pounds than Gerard was.
That's just
it's
if
not
that's
about
all it's about, then
no, it's not. It's not about just brawn and being large. It's about playing a sturdy defensive game, which Gerard does, but with limitations because of he can be pushed around. And Kulak,
15 pounds is a lot of weight.
They're really comparable players, but just that's the one difference.
They're like 6'1", 190. I mean, you could just like that's not a big guy.
Play, it is clear what's happening. Yeah. I hear you on just like the raw numbers of it, but like Kulak is
the narratives are insane. I'm just saying it's insane. I mean, that's going to make a difference. I mean, in general, the Avs play soft. Like if we're having the conversation of they need to play like Florida, play like that kind
that's
of
not their style.
But that's a different conversation. But you're not going to add one guy that weighs 10 more pounds and not be soft. You're still soft.
It's not yeah. I mean, I hear you. I'm talking about style of play. Gerard is a very effective defender. He does it with his stick. He does it by kind of staying out of the mix and making the smart right choice. Kulak is a little bit more aggressive. It's a difference. Blankenberg is a little bit more aggressive. Does that make them better defenders? I don't think so. I think they're really comparable. But Kulak, Blankenberg is not close to either of them on the defensive end, in my opinion. But it's just a different style, and maybe that's what they were looking for.
But the Avs are still a very soft team.
I don't really agree with that either. They're not the Florida Panthers. They're not the Florida Panthers, but they're not looking to hit you in the mouth, but they are looking to control the play and dominate puck battles, and they do a good job of it.
And we still see any team that exerts physicality on them
lose 5-1.
That have they lost to Minnesota.
They lose games. Yeah.
Yeah.
They lose games.
And you can see how they get shut. I mean, yes, they lose some games just because they're dumb. They play dumb and whatever, and they let a bad team beat them. But you see, whenever they have struggles against a good team, it's because the other team is able to exert their physicality on them. That's been a theme. That's been a theme for years. That's been a theme how they've lost for years. This team is still the same. Like, you don't just add a couple depth pieces and have a completely different identity. That is their identity. That is one of the weaknesses that this team has. So if you're going to change that, you have to change a lot.
I don't think they're trying to change it.
Well, that's true. You can't be everything, but that is still one of the weaknesses they have.
Sure.
I think, though, that I understand where you're coming from, Jackie, but I also feel like that the Avs kind of do their own thing. They don't need to copy or be like Florida or be like any other sort of teams. Is that maybe beneficial but also hurt them at the same time? I would say so, probably. I think, as cool as it would be to win 82 games a year and, try and win the Stanley Cup every year, it'd be great. But then, you kind of, I guess, maybe lose the charm of it a little bit. But
well, sure, they have to be themselves. Yeah. I get that. Like I said, you can't be everything.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that when you choose to be something, you have weaknesses. And that's one of them.
Yeah.
I guess so. I'm not really sure. I think to kind of circle this back around to the question of the Avs, are they still going to compete for the cup? Are they still good enough? Absolutely. I think that they are. I think no matter what's the best way to word this. I mean, they're going to have a shot. As long as you make the playoffs, you're going to have a shot, right? Is it as good of a shot as it could be? I think that's up to debate, right? I think
it's a lot better shot than last year. I mean, last year they just
Yeah.
weren't even close. They really weren't. So, I mean, they're much better positioned this year. They've obviously had a better regular season. I think the rest of the league's weaker, so the path is definitely clearer for them. So yeah, it's as good as any. Like it's not going to get any better than this, but do they have enough to get it done? We'll see.
Yeah, this is a really, really good shot for the Avs, and I know that it's kind of come up too recently in the debates of 1 through 8 seeding again, and not the divisionals and whatnot and whatever. But I think right now the current first round matchup for the Avs would be, I think, against Seattle. And I don't know about you all, but I'm still kind of traumatized.
It changes a lot. Yeah, it changes a lot. There's some in there, like it could even be Edmonton. Like I don't think they necessarily want to do that in the first round. I mean, they could get San Jose or someone we know they're absolutely going to beat. But there's a few teams I don't know. I think they could. We have the Seattle history. I think they can beat them though. I wouldn't really be too concerned about that. Edmonton, I don't think they need to deal with that in the first round. I also don't like Utah. They play them very close. Those are probably the two that I wouldn't love, but
Utah would be a fun series. But yeah, it'd be
it
a
would
challenge.
be. It definitely would be. I mean, even that Pacific is so tight. It could even be Vegas. I mean, anything could happen. So that the whole like, oh, if they win the President's Trophy and they get the lowest wild card, that might not necessarily be ideal. That might not be a great matchup for them, but we'll see.
Well, it is better than Dallas or Minnesota. So
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Having to play both Dallas and Minnesota would be brutal. And I think that's where like the confidence in the cup run does come into question. Is the Avs do have the toughest path, most likely, of anyone, unless somebody unless somehow Minnesota ends up playing the first seed in the Pacific, which I don't see that happening. But the Avs do potentially have the toughest path. So there's concern there. But man, against most teams that look like they're going to be playoff teams, it's hard not to pick. It'd be very hard for me to justify not picking the Avs to win the series.
Yeah, I think out of those kind of three that we just touched on too, between Utah, Seattle, and Edmonton, I'm not scared of Edmonton. Have you seen that goaltending? Have you seen that defense? I know they have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, we've said that for the last 2 years, and they've made the final. I still don't buy them. I won't buy them until they can shore up their depth in a way that really means something to me. I don't think Dickinson and Colton Dach are that. I don't think Connor Murphy is that. So to me, this Edmonton team is still just top heavy without goaltending to actually make a difference. But that's
still,
what
that
I've
wouldn't
said
be
for the last 2 years.
Not a great first. You don't want that to be your prize for winning.
Oh no, certainly
President's
not.
Trophy.
I mean, the Avs. Look at the one time that Edmonton made the Western Conference final, they ran into the Avs. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I know that team is very different to this team today, but like I don't buy Edmonton at all. Like there's just no way. There's just no shot at it at all.
So that's interesting.
I think I'm back.
Oh yeah, can you hear us?
Back. Yes, I can hear you guys. Okay,
excellent.
So I want to give my answer now to the are the Avs Stanley Cup champions right now as constructed. I think that it's a good question to ask because of that $6.94 million that's still left on the table as of right now. I haven't heard anything while I was scrambling. So
I don't see anything.
With that money on the table, I think it's easy to answer that and go, well, they must have left something on the table. So are they equipped to win the cup? Yes. Could they have been better equipped to win the cup? I think also yes. So I think when the dust settles, they better hope they do win the cup this year, because a lot of fans, I mean, what are we going to do? Not go watch them? We're not going to punish them by any means, but they'd be good to win a Stanley Cup this year and show us we didn't even need to spend that 6.94. It's like the opposite of when Tampa went and did it like $14 million over the cap. The Avs can say, look, we didn't even blow the bank and we still won the cup. But if the Avalanche don't win the cup, fans are going to point to that $6.94 million and they're going to say exactly what Jackie mentioned. Well, you didn't add enough supplemental scoring into your depth. And well, the defender, the 7th D man you added, not quite what we needed when someone went down. And now we have another 5'9" guy on our bottom pairing. And wouldn't you know, the physicality of the playoffs didn't work out for him. So it sets up to be, yes, you can win the Stanley Cup, because just like we talked about just now with Edmonton, even if you're not necessarily that great elsewhere, it's entirely possible that Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon and a couple others who are extremely talented can carry you through a few rounds. But I don't think, as we've been shown maybe by the Edmonton Oilers the last 2 years, I don't think you can win a Stanley Cup that way. So I think the answer to that question will all revolve around whether or not this young man here, or just man, I'm sure he's young compared to me, Nicholas Waugh, how he fits in, how he brings in supplemental scoring. He needs to be the player he was in Vegas and not the player he has been in Toronto, where he's been asked to carry more of the load as it pertains to supplemental scoring and role. So I think in Colorado, Waugh can have a really good impact offensively. He's going to be the catalyst of the answer to this question. That's my answer.
I guess I have two little questions.
Yes,
one little, maybe one bigger. The little one is, I know there was so much talk preseason about how Drury was fine as 3C and that we were all crazy for doubting him. Like, didn't that come to fruition that he was just kind of keeping the seat warm? They were always going to get another center. And then the other question I have is, okay, off of the question of can they win the cup, what are the expectations? What is fulfilling those expectations? Like, obviously winning the cup fulfills them, but does any other outcome fulfill them? Like, I know it's hard to win. It's hard to win 4 rounds, but what are the true expectations? If they don't go to the cup final, is this team a failure? Like, where are we at with that?
Well, I'll jump in. I think, well, I mean, ultimately, I think this team is good enough to win a cup, and if they don't, that's disappointing. If they come out and look disgusting, and the power play can't score, and everything's awful, then that's a huge failure. No matter when they lose in the playoffs, even if they eke out a first round series win, but nothing's working, that's going to be extremely disappointing. But if they're it's more about how the thing happens than what the actual like round number is to me. Because if they're competitive and they're playing very well, things are working, they should win. But it's hockey; things happen. If they don't win, I'm not going to be torn up about it. I'll be torn up about it emotionally, but I'm not going to be like, how could they let this happen? Because things happen. But ultimately, for me, yeah, if they don't win the cup, that's what they should be doing. They should be winning the cup with this team.
By the way, Brunley has been recalled as expected.
So I guess, do we have to ding Jackie now because he didn't end the day in the minor?
Well, that was going to be that was a given. He was going to be sent down and then
but nobody else
was.
Like, why wouldn't you move down?
Just to make Brindley eligible for...
Yeah, you make him eligible for the rest of the year, because if he's on the roster during when the deadline passes, now
but then also, why would you care about that? We're talking about the Avs winning the cup. When is he going to the Eagles then?
Well, they have injuries right now, right? So he still needs to be on the roster.
8 of them.
But when everybody's healthy, O'Connor, Kiviranta, maybe he is the guy who gets sent down.
He's going to probably be, him and Bardakov are probably going to be the ones that, well, now Bardakov can't be sent down. But
right.
Brenly can be someone who can be going down and get more ice time. And yeah.
Well, we'll let Adrian decide what version of the technicalities.
I want to touch on
he can
jury
even
part of your question really quick, and then I'll pass it over to Evan. Sorry, Evan. Just the jury part of your question. I think Jury was given an opportunity to prove he can be a 3C, and he proved he can't. And so they went and upgraded him, and that's how that went. He maybe can be a 3C on a bad team, but this isn't a bad team. This is a team where he has to be a 4C, and he'll be great at it. And that was a great experiment. They found the answer, and they replaced him, and that's good.
I will say, I just go back real quick. I am surprised that they didn't send Bardakov down, but no, that is what it is. to answer your question, Ezra, if you don't mind repeating it for me. It was about Drury and 3C or 4C.
I was answering Jackie's questions, which were did the Drury experiment at 3C ultimately prove anything? Sorry, Jackie, I know that's not exactly
I guess
what you
the
said,
question was
I heard it.
more, you know, what is the actual question? About keeping the seat warm. That 3C was never his. It was about keeping the seat warm. I mean, I agree he had a chance, but I mean, what did he really have to do to?
I think he had to up the scoring. I think he
For
had
sure.
to, and Nick Waugh doesn't come in and really up the scoring himself, but I think between the two of them, you have two really.
All right, holy Moses.
Welcome back, Adrian. And then the other question I was answering, Evan, was also Jackie's, which was
expectations
for the playoffs.
The expectations to win the cup, obviously. Yeah. I mean,
but what is not, other than not winning the cup, what is not meeting expectations? Like,
other than that,
there has to be something where we look back and we're going to have to assess their season and how they did. And yeah, win the cup, then they did the thing. But if they don't win the cup, did they still meet expectations? Or what are the expectations? They have to make the cup final? Do they have to? I mean, I guess at this point they have to at the very least make the Western Conference Finals. I mean,
I was gonna say I was debating one of Western Conference Final or Stanley Cup Final. I would honestly say Stanley Cup Final just because the Pacific is
second
awful.
round, for God's sake.
The Pacific is just not that good in comparison. Like, the only team that really scares me out there is Vegas, and Vegas only beat a playoff team for the 5th time, in like the whole year or something like that. And like the first time since like November or whatever it was, whatever that crazy stat was. So I think it's
I don't know, Evan. That makes me I'm back, obviously. That makes me scared almost, because they should have an easier route to the Western Conference Final if you win the Pacific. So like, you win the division, you're gonna face the worst team, obviously, the other wild card, probably, right? But after that, it's going to be the next best team in the division, and that team might not be as good as that wild card team you played in the first round, if I'm being honest. With the way things,
the whole Pacific is crazy. That's true. Yeah. Like, who knows?
So like, you could end up being a Vegas team. I'm surprised Vegas didn't get a goalie, because if I was Vegas, I would see it exactly how I just described it.
They've got Carter Hart and who else?
Logan Thompson? No.
Their goalies can't make a save.
Akira Schmid.
Isn't it Hill?
They're having a tough go.
Change it
Aiden Hill.
It's Aiden Hill. Yeah, it's Aiden Hill.
Yeah, and Akira Schmid.
And they're having a very tough time. So I'm surprised that's what's really held them back this year.
I'm surprised they didn't been able to play in the league for 2 years, but we're not going to go there.
Out there on the market, and Vegas looking at the Pacific going, who here is going to really put up a fight against the Central other than us? I think that they were in a position of power, and I don't know that. Obviously, we don't know. Maybe it could come in any second now that that's exactly what they did, get a goalie. But I view it the opposite way. Like, the going through the Central is going to be tough. Even if you win the Central, it's going to be tough. These wildcard teams in the West are going to be good. And so the first round is going to be a test. And then the second round is going to be against the other 2 best teams in the whole conference. So one of those 2. So the route to the Stanley Cup, I think you guys were saying this when I was trying to get my stuff together, was the route to the Stanley Cup for the Avs is pretty difficult. And looking at the Western Conference, and like you said, Evan, the Avs caught Edmonton from the Pacific in the Western Conference Final when they did win the cup, and it worked out. They swept them. So it could play out that way. I just get worried in the playoffs when it becomes the war of attrition thing, and going through tougher teams typically means losing more guys, which puts you further back in that war of attrition. And I could see a team from the Pacific going relatively unscathed to the Western Conference Final. And then it's like a really banged up, really good team versus a healthy, decent team. And that's when you get into trouble, I think.
Possibly, I guess so. And we haven't really touched on this at all yet either, is that Arturi Lehkonen is out week to week right now. I don't think we've really touched on that yet at all.
He'll be back before the end of the year, is what they were saying this morning.
Well, I was gonna say that's the hope, but but you never know. You could have another Logan O'Connor situation like we've had this year. You know,
they probably know what's wrong with him. I don't know. I wonder if it's kind of like a shoulder dislocation that's sort of like
we have no
but
idea
that's
what
like kind of a defined timeline. Like you kind of know how that's going to go. The whole part about them saying they wanted him to get started on his rehab right away, that's kind of in that ballpark. I think he'll be fine. I mean, at this point, are we just looking at it as rest? Like we want all these players to get rest. Isn't it kind of a good thing that one guy's going to get some rest? I mean, I'm not saying I'm glad he's injured, but I'm saying the silver lining to it is
I think that's exactly what Dallas has done with Rantanen. Yeah, I think Dallas has done exactly that with Rantanen since the Olympic break. They just went about it the opposite way. They're like, oh, well, we're not going to need you for another 2 months, really. So just take as much time as you need right after the break, and we'll get you back when we can, when it matters. It's the whole Olympic break thing is a wrinkle that I feel we'll look back at with a whole new light once the playoffs start to play out, because those, just like when you do the trade trees, like the tree of circumstance that comes off of the weird season where they did a best on best tournament with an asterisk, Jackie, I know Russia wasn't there, where they did this best on best tournament. The tree of circumstance that comes from that is bigger than just Fiala going down for Minnesota. It's going to have a bigger effect. I mean, we've already seen it in Toronto. They haven't won a game since the Olympic break, and Matthews has been terrible. And so, like, it's going to have its day also when playoffs come around, and it's going to play out with these top-tier players in terms of their injury gap. That's going to play a factor that we aren't really used to. You know, we asked the question before the Olympics, and when the Avs were 10 points ahead of everyone in the division and league with, I think it was like 4 games in hand, we asked, like, is load management a thing? And we all kind of agreed, like, it's against hockey culture, but there may be decisions made differently. And I think that has already been shown to be true.
I mean, yeah, Bednar's line is that he doesn't care about load management, and that until they have the number 1 seed locked down, he's going to go for it. But I agree with you, in a situation that they didn't want, say, a Lehkonen injury, then that gives them the opportunity to say, how much do we really need to push and rush him back? Mm-hmm. I agree with that part, where it gives them the luxury to say, you know, maybe some of this rest here can be beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
like you said, only one player, though. I mean, wouldn't it be more beneficial to, like, I don't know, Landeskog or for God's sake,
you could argue
McKinnon.
Landeskog did. You could argue Landeskog did exactly that.
True that.
Yeah.
But that's not
broken ribs is.
Yeah, broken.
No. I don't
being able to breathe is a different story. But
let me put it this way. Let me contextualize it a little bit. If those games were in the playoffs, Hurt Landeskog plays, which is why he played in the Olympics. Yeah, because he was still hurt. So, but in this context of the season, they're like, there's no point in you playing these next 3 games before you go play Hurt in the Olympics. So there it is, right there. That was, I know it's, and that's why we have the freaking goober Scott Hastings on Altitude calling for Gabe Landeskog to play, because he's probably right. I think in the scope of a normal season, or if it were crunch time hockey, Gabe Landeskog isn't missing the games that he missed, no matter what. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like, how we already, I know it's anti-hockey culture, but it's happening already right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, and it's like, I've played through broken ribs. It's not pleasant. I've played through, and Jackie thinks it's a dislocated shoulder for Lecky. I've played with a dislocated shoulder. It's not pleasant. Any shot you take hurts like and it is not pleasant. And
Sure.
for me, it
Well-
was my
We got to worry about it getting redislocated. That's the other thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
and
what
for me,
Wedgwood was
it-
worried about.
well, and it wasn't my my lower hand. For me, it was my hand that I controlled everything with. So any
Mhm.
move that I was making with my stick was just not a pleasant feeling.
Mhm.
So I think we've covered it all. I mean, it doesn't look like anything. Oh wait, trade alert. Just kidding. It's still Braden Shen. They need to change their tickers down here on the bottom of their screens on
Right.
NHL Network.
Yeah, what a
Were
totally
there any
boring
more of
deadline,
those
geez.
talkbacks, Ado?
Yeah, it's
we
like-
had one more, but upon review, it was good. We reviewed. So we'll just put it that way. But hey,
Always
you
a
know what?
risk opening up the phone lines.
Yeah, I mean, a part of me wanted to play it because it was basically just them calling me an idiot for like 30 seconds, which is fun, but the language was just a little too colorful. Next time, be more creative and don't like try to Will Smith it and like spit a rap, but don't curse. And I'll probably put you on the air, especially if you're talking shit about me, because that's just fun. But yeah, I don't see anything else coming through right now. Like I don't have any. Did you see that texts and oh here we go texts?
There were a couple of
Anything?
things we didn't touch on, which I don't think really are anything. They're nothing significant for us, but one guy that the Avs talked about that's been talked about for potentially for the Avs is John Gabriel Pajot from the Island, but they extended him for 3 years at $4.85 million. That is mildly interesting. He's just kind of old, so it's surprising he'd get 3. And then David Kampf got traded to Washington by Vancouver. That doesn't really do anything for me, but it's interesting.
Vancouver's
think
just
of,
like, hey, let's light the dumpster on fire.
What did you all think of the Capitals trading Carlson in the middle of the night?
Oh, he didn't even know until this morning.
He woke up like all of us, rubbing his eyes, looking at the feed, going, "What?"
Yeah, well, I woke up to that news too this morning. That's
I saw it last night.
The only
John
way I
Carlson.
knew about it was because I'm up till like 1 or 2 every morning. So
I don't know how much of an impact it makes on Anaheim, especially considering the Avs just beat up on Anaheim pretty good the other night. But I mean, I guess it could be something. I guess I don't really know. But Anaheim
Didn't they lose to Anaheim this year?
What's that?
Well, they just
they
beat their
have
butts,
lost.
but yeah.
I think
well, they were talking
okay,
about
I think
that
that trade's maybe one of the more interesting ones if we're going to talk about
for
this
sure.
deadline. I think it's big on Washington to kind of understand where they're at. Like I think they're on a good trajectory. I think I even wrote it in our preseason roundtable. It just felt like they had such a kind of a beyond expectation season last year that they're going to take a little bit of step back. So I think it's big on them to recognize that and to get something for it. And then they're still positioned very well in the near future. For Anaheim, I mean, they went to bed last night 1 point out of first place. You could say they're not very good. They're 1 point out of the first in Pacific. So why shouldn't that team believe they have a chance? Why shouldn't they try to do something? They could absolutely win that division. And
oh, totally.
You never know. Like we can just say, oh, I mean, come on, are they really going to win the cup? But you can't think like that, right? Like if you have a chance to win your
if you
division,
get in,
yeah,
you get in, you got a shot.
Yeah,
Look
if you
no
have
further
a
than
chance to
LA.
win your division, who knows? Yeah, who knows what'll happen? So I think it's also good on them to make a move like that, and it really didn't cost them a whole lot. Just it's going to be a late first, and it's actually even protected. If somehow they miss the playoffs, they can elect to keep the pick, which is kind
crazy,
of an interesting
but a great preparation
next year
wrinkle.
Yeah,
they remember all of the last few years where they just started losing consecutive games at the worst pop.
Well, yeah, there you go. If they
smart move there,
slide, then they can keep their pick. But
yeah, the only thing that really
and
the Washington side of it, I'm like, oh, definitely get rid of Carlson, get rid of Dowd, like move your older players. That makes a ton of sense.
There is a culture consideration, and you would hope that they were prepared for that, I guess.
Yeah, but then they also went out and brought back in David Kampf, which I'm like, okay, I guess we're spending small assets here too.
Sure.
I don't think he cost much, but there's no reporting on that I've seen yet on the actual cost. But it is, they don't. they don't strike me as a team that's like we have to sell because we're done, but also let's let some of these older guys go because we are where we're done, but also let's keep ourselves in the playoff mix, which
well, they're 4 points out of the wild card right now.
Totally. So they still have like a shot, and obviously with Carlson gone, Jacob Chikrin will get to be more featured. I'm sure he's already plenty featured, but they don't have to worry about splitting up power play minutes between the two of them, which Carlson was already not playing as much as Chikrin, but they could still make a push with this roster that they've got. But I don't know, man. Why are you?
I think it's kind of smart to do a little buying and selling. Like I don't like this notion that you have to either be like fire sailing or that you have to burn every asset you have and buy 5 different players. Like I think the smart organizations are the ones that understand you can be both. You can be a buyer, you can be a seller. You don't have to declare
bankruptcy.
Yeah, what you are either way. And so I think teams get ahead by making these smart moves. Like I remember when Vancouver got Hronek and everyone's like, they suck, why are they buying? Well, he's a good player for them. Like that's why you do it. That's probably the one good decision they've made in the last several years.
Yeah, truly. Well, Washington also brought in Timothy Liljegren. So that
was a good move in my opinion. But like
you said, a couple of little ads there. You can do both. It doesn't mean that you've completely given up.
Yeah, I just was questioning the David Camp specifically, but like Washington, I do think is positioned to still make a playoff push, even though they've sold off some veterans, which I think is ideal.
I think that's perfect. I think that's a great strategy.
They're not really rebuilding, but they are transitioning to a younger group, right? So I think that's kind of perfect.
Oh, and Washington's got the core in Hershey too to build up to. So and they've been good for years. So I don't think they're going to have a problem building back up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll even be back next year. I think they'll be a playoff team next year.
Yeah, I could see it for sure.
I think too that the Ducks are. I mean, yes, the Avs big brothered them the other night, but they're a good team this year. Like I think it's also going back to the Ducks side. They have a chance to surprise some people. We're on an absolute
second in the Pacific right now. That's not a surprise. I mean, if you're considering that, that is a surprise.
I think I wrote them that they'd be the miracle team this year. I think that's in writing.
You think Coach Q is going to take them into the playoffs and get far?
But Coach Q's has had to, as much as we can say we don't like him and like the past, he has been a good coach.
Oh yeah, for sure. The on-ice results speak for themselves, as do the off-ice actions.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Well,
I think it was interesting.
Well put,
that Altitude was so willing to celebrate him the other night. I thought that was. I don't know. You guys don't watch Altitude.
I did not like that. Yeah,
I did. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was
and they do it every time the Avs play the Ducks, and it's like I know they 2 of them played for him. I get why they feel an affinity, but read the room, guys.
Maybe not. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then
let's do bold predictions real quick, Brennan.
But the problem with the Ducks is that the goals don't have. They're the same way as the Eagles. There's no prospects, all that fun junk. They're going to be struggling to build up that prospect base. So they're going to have to be doing it from, older vets and things like that. So
sure,
this may be a flash in the pan this year.
But they have a ton of young players.
Not in San Diego, but
that's not where good players plays in the AHL.
You got to get experience somewhere.
Oh, dang it.
Uh-oh. Are you out?
Did you just freeze?
Oh, he switched cameras and it spoiled everything.
Yeah, it froze on him.
Well, I know we were building up.
Now he went to 1990s version 8.0.
Somebody talk.
I know we were gearing up to get into our bold predictions. That's where Adrian was taking us. But I guess we'll get there very shortly because I don't have them in front of me and I know he does. But did anybody have any? I mean, the big thing, the other big thing was
if
Vincent
you can
Trocheck
hear me, I can do it. Here we go.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, it is interesting. No, Robert Thomas moved. Trocheck. Yeah. No really big name. Kadri obviously didn't. Just a lot of hype, not a lot of substance.
Yeah.
Well, Trocheck was only wanting to go out east, so that may have limited
Well,
where
sure,
he
yeah,
wanted.
that didn't help.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like Kadri was kind of only interested in coming to Colorado.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I quite buy the reporting on the whole Kadri situation. We'll see if anything shakes out.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah,
a little
it'll be
bit more like the truth.
I know. It's kind of crazy to hear that. That was, I guess, that was on the table, but then I guess wasn't, I guess, or shut down, I guess, by Calgary ownership.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
that was surprising. And like I know, like we've kind of touched on already, that it was, you know, something that maybe that's why they had the $6-7 million, you know, set aside, you know, for that to happen. But
Mhm.
you know, it is what it is, I guess.
It could have been the fact that they were going to get some kind of cruddy player in the return or something like that, but
maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. We haven't really touched on this yet. Is that the Wild have made a bunch of moves, obviously with the Quinn Hughes, but then you're also getting the other Foligno brother.
Yeah, they made a bunch.
They
Yeah,
were in on
Quinn
Trocheck at
Hughes
one
is
point.
seeing ghosts.
Bobby Brink, interesting.
Yeah, Brink for
I know Bobby
Yurichek.
Brink is an interesting move. He scored against the Avs. I thought that he maybe could have been something to think about, but you know, I'm fine with that not happening.
Mhm.
But then also Dallas, I like that move for Michael Bunting that they made. It's a good fit, I feel like, in Dallas for sure.
Yeah.
There's blurry.
What I like the most about it is that it doesn't scare me at all for the Avs matchup with them, because I don't think he's actually good. I think he's like a tryhard who takes a lot of penalties. But I do see the fit. I don't like him, so I'm not scared of him. But yeah, I see what you're saying. And then Minnesota, yeah, I mean, getting two Folinos in the lineup definitely slows you down, so that's helpful. I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot to like about what Minnesota's done, but I'm also, again, that doesn't add any fear to me.
Well, and then Tyler Myers can be just sometimes an awkward giraffe.
Yeah, another guy where I'm like, okay, great, you got slower. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, because he's like, I think he's 6'9" off
guys.
skates.
It's true about all the big guys. There's diminishing returns.
All right, Ado's back. Let's try and make this happen right here, right now.
All right. So bold prediction. I believe, Ezra, you said that the Avs would add another defender, not a forward. I guess that's wrong because they did nothing.
That was Evan, yeah.
Evan, we're trying over here
okay.
to buzz you. You've been buzzed. Let the record show. You've been buzzed. It doesn't want to come through. And
it did come through. We heard it.
Oh, you did, like 7 times probably.
No, just one.
Okay, cool. Let me pull up because now other things
gonna start
aren't
coming
working.
through.
I know, right? You're gonna see me, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know. Not.
And Evan, that prediction was made after the Blankenberg trade, right?
Yes. Oh, was it? No.
It's
No,
because
it was before
the prediction was because he said Colton would still be here, and we said that wasn't bold enough. So then he said they won't trade for a forward, and that was pretty bold.
Yeah, and they did trade for a forward, so still true.
All right, I'm pulling up the other ones real quick on my phone since we are doing this the way it's happening. Jackie, you had Gavin Brindley will not be an Av after the deadline. We already dinged you for that to start the episode as he's been sent down to the Eagles. Brandon, you had Eric Howla to the Avs. I'm going to wrong buzzer you there, unfortunately.
I wish. I really wish.
And then Ezra, you had Bobby McMahon to the Central. Sorry, that's a buzz. You also had Robert Thomas ending up on the East Coast. How did that go?
He didn't
also
move.
Does he get half a buzz for at least Bobby McMahon going to the Western Conference?
No,
nope.
I don't.
I had a Avalanche roster player being traded. Uh-oh.
No fucking way.
They did the Kadri deal, guys.
No fucking
way.
No way. I'm not kidding. Elliot Friedman, Nazem Kadri.
Yeah, that's the real Friedman.
No way.
No
wow,
way.
I just put my foot in my mouth last night.
Okay, so that's going to be Drury because that's Nick Wago's down to 4C.
Oh my God! All right, hold on. Time out from the game. You guys take over for a second while I get my SHIT back together.
Okay, let's
so
see.
that I can
Well,
participate.
Well, I mean, we're
I
not going to know
honestly
what.
don't think it's the 2028 first. It's probably the 2 seconds they have left in 2027. It has to be a roster player. It's probably Ross Colton.
Yeah, it's got to be cool.
That's my guess of what the return is.
Well, we'll see what the money shakes out. How the money shakes out, because if there's a lot of retention, then it could be somebody cheaper than Colton. But
if they could take Colton back, do they really need retention? I mean, that's 4.5. So I mean, that probably gets it down to the 3.5 they would like. Well, good for them because we were about ready to say adios.
Yeah, they got it in right as we were trying to sign off.
Good thing I know how to delay
a work
podcast,
meeting in half an hour, so we can only talk for 28 minutes, guys.
Holy cow.
Okay, now it's everyone saying it. So hold on, we'll see what the return is.
The big thing here is going to be the return because I think you have to make money work from this, and then
I think it has to
assume
be
a roster
Colton.
player's going.
But I'm glad. I mean, hey, we love Naz, right? I mean, this is cool.
This is great news.
This is awesome. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah. We're all agreeing.
This is the thing that everyone wanted them to do. This is not how it usually goes. Usually we tuck our tails. I go through the end of the bold predictions. We end our episodes super sad. And we try
so close, guys. So close.
We try to convince ourselves that the version of the team that was this team before the trade was good enough. Now the question is, in fact, what was the send? Because I was just about to give myself a buzz on the Avs trading another roster.
That's true. I bet
think you're gonna get the ding that one.
Ado's gonna get the ding for that. And then does Brindley go back?
Right.
Send him back down.
They just brought him back up. Yeah.
I know when they sent him back.
Yeah.
Well, that technically was a paper transaction. So
but then the others weren't. They usually don't. They'll say after the fact, "Oh, these guys were papered." It usually doesn't happen like that. Like,
well,
so
in
many
previous
different
years, yes,
transactions. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, because this is the one day that it's an exception this year that players can go down and come back up without having to physically report on with the team and all that fun junk. So
we're just hitting refresh right now. We still don't know the return.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, I've put in my guess. We'll see.
Holy
I think it has
smokes.
to be. It has to be Colton, especially if it's true that the Flames were.
Hey, what if it's Val?
Retain.
Is it too much if it's Val?
I will be upset.
I don't know
because I liked Val.
Love Val. It would be hard to see him go.
Still the reasons why I gave last time is still why. I mean, would it be okay? I mean, I think they're kind of a worse team if they trade. I'd be on the fence if it makes them better if it's Val. If they actually got Colton or some other, then they're absolutely better. If it's Val, it's closer to a wash. You guys still there?
Yeah. Just
sorry.
Okay.
I'm like going crazy
again. Okay.
We're an hour past the deadline, by the way. This one's been waiting in the queue, I guess, for.
Yeah, they didn't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone said that they circled back late. I guess they really wanted to make it happen, which I could see. Couldn't see the Avs really wanted to make it happen, and sure Naz really wanted to make it happen.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Absolutely. I know we had kind of just said that he was only looking to go back to Colorado, I guess, and that I guess it's happening. So,
does he have trade protection?
Kadri,
even? I think he had some, right?
I think I'll double check, but I think it was a full. Let me find it.
They better give him 91 again.
Partial trade, 13 team no trade list, and that stays through the whole deal.
It's unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, I mean he's 35. He's getting paid for the next 3 years after this one.
Oh, I'm
think-
sure there's going to be retention.
There's got to be
I-
retention.
I'm gonna
There
say I don't
has
think
to be
so.
retention now.
Well, I guess if they move enough money out, there might not be, but I have no. We have no clue. This is just coming to us 5 minutes ago.
I guess it
from
could be
Elliot.
lower retention. Maybe they get him to
Yeah.
retain $1 million or $1.5 million, something like that.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible too.
Thinking about future seasons, Cap, you've got to do some retention, but there's ways around it. I mean, we've seen them like with. I was trying to get to make this point earlier, and we diverted and went elsewhere. But with Charlie Coyle last year, they brought him in and then they moved him for picks so that they could move picks for somebody else, and that's always a possibility with other roster players too. So there's ways to move money out while still building your team up. But
I think too the interesting thing with this too is that, like we said, we there was a deal in place apparently that it was originally shut down. I know Brendan just wrote on that last night, and
Literally, like at 8:00 last night.
yeah, wrote that last night. And I think I'll admit this too is I thought this Kadri dream was gone especially after getting Nick Waugh. That it just seemed like it wasn't going to happen at that case. But now, if this is the case, then you have a ton of center depth, and Nazem Kadri's had I would say a pretty solid year on a pretty crappy Calgary team.
But we'll
as
see who
their
gets
one
moved out.
seed, like that's an important factor. Is Kadri's production was maybe like his underlying stats were maybe a little bit down, but his production's solid as a 1C. Now he's going to come here and be a 3C. Give me a break.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, he could even. I mean, if it really wants to, he could even swap with Nelson because Nelson.
Yeah,
played
I was
going
going
to
to say Nelson
in
could
the-
Yeah, when
go
Nelson's
down.
shooting percentage cools down, you might want to see him at 3C, which obviously gives you a good problem to have. You could have either
Totally.
one at 2 or 3.
Yeah, and both of them. I mean, both of them are old, right? So if you look at the future,
You
one of
watch
them.
your mouth.
Well,
I mean, we're
they're-
all old here.
They're
come on.
literally my age, okay? But I turned 35 this month. But
41, buddy.
but they but as their aging curve, the decline comes, maybe one declines faster than the other, that one becomes a 3C. So you're giving yourself the option to, instead of taking one bet on a 35-year-old player staying solid for a couple of years, you've got two chances, which is better
So
than
Nas
one
has 3 years left
in
after
a way.
this? 3?
Nas has 3 years after this.
Okay. And I know Nelson has 2 left. So yeah,
That's right.
they're definitely I mean, what are they going to do
Okay.
after that? But that's
Funniest
tomorrow's
post. EJ has posted a single word.
Yeah, Nas.
Nas. Yeah, that's literally the response from
phenomenal.
EJ.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Holy cow.
I mean, Kadri as like an emotional core of the team, I think was not
need that
underreported at the
swagger.
time.
He brings
Yeah.
swagger that I think they need sometimes.
Totally.
They do.
And,
Yeah.
I
The
think-
ear.
Yeah, I think he brings an element that very few players bring that at times got him in a lot of trouble, of course, but it hasn't gotten him in trouble in a long time. So,
And I think Benner's
gotta
good about
say.
knowing how to, because I think he's somebody that needs to be kind of managed or motivated. We know that he fits here. He responds to Bednar. He responds to the core of the team, the leaders. So I think it's obviously a much better fit here than maybe elsewhere.
So would I say that we should do an emergency pod, but we're already on.
we just have to change the title of the podcast.
Yeah, right.
The timing
It's like
works
after
out so
hours.
well.
This is like the after party. That's exactly what
just,
this is. It's the
let's
after
just have
party.
it as let's just have it as Nas.
I don't know where Ada went because I feel like he'd probably been the most excited about this deal.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll
he was
text
trying to
him.
get things reconnected.
All right, I'm back.
There it is.
He's not trying
He's
to
running
do
around.
that.
Dude, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
you
he's
have no
trying
idea.
not to wake up his kid, and he's like,
Yes, precisely. Doing the dance a little bit, but thanks for bearing with
You're
me for a
back
second.
inside
All right.
now.
Of course.
Did we get any retention?
No. We
don't know
have no
anything yet.
details. No
We
No
details.
have
details. All we've gotten
We're
is
still at
yet.
the same.
all we've gotten is the tweet from Elliot that just says Kadri back to Colorado, basically.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of others have confirmed.
Unbelievable.
Johnston
So,
with the same
I
post
mean,
on the
obviously, I've probably missed a lot already, but I'll give my 2 cents real quick. First of all, all right. I don't want to be that guy, but man, I've been talking about this Kadri trade for a long time. And people have always told me that I'm silly. I'm a silly goose. And most of the time I am a silly goose. But the thing about this whole Kadri thing was how this choice they made between Nichushkin and Kadri has been framed with the benefit of time and experience, which is you may have a little bit of buyer's remorse right now with Val Nichushkin. And not to mention the stuff that's happened otherwise off the ice with Nichushkin. It just hasn't sorted out the way it was supposed to after the cup for Nuke. I think both sides would say it. Brandon?
Tanner Pearson to Buffalo.
Oh, but I'll say this. I don't know that it's Nichushkin in the return. So I won't draw that line just yet. But I will say that you could still look at the choice and go, well, actually, Kadri's playing pretty well into the years that we were worried about. And ever since he's been gone, we've had a problem up the middle. And it seems like Nelson is the 2C fit, but guess what? Now you have a fail-safe in case Jackie's right and all of a sudden he regresses and he stops scoring goals. You have somebody who can be on the power play because he's done it before. You have somebody who fits just this entire room. It's wonderful.
Is that you or me?
It's me.
Okay.
Junior's excited.
It's like, no, it's just like, did my kid get home?
I wonder what it was that got it done at the last second. I wonder what the final push was. You know what I mean? What made this deal happen?
Yeah, I mean, my first instinct is they found a third party to take on money for.
I don't think they can do that anymore.
They can't double retain, but you can trade Kadri in full somewhere and then have that team retain part.
Yeah, you can only have one mediator essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that, like, obviously Chicago has kind of been big with that, but they have no retention slots left. I think that was reported.
Vancouver would be my first thought.
I was thinking Vancouver, maybe. I mean, maybe San Jose still, but I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, like I'm really intrigued on what put this over.
I just feel like it's more roster players that's what made the money work. But
that's what I imagine too, is that it has to be some sort of, I mean, there's got to be some sort of roster change to make the retention work. I think I saw you say, Ezra, like $2 million, I think, or something like that needs to be.
Somebody else said it. I was just repeating it, but yeah, I think it's true.
So there are 4,600 of you currently watching.
With us. I'm sure everybody else is doing an emergency live. So thank you for sticking with us.
This is why we always make the choice.
I can't wait to go back and watch my reaction to that.
Yeah, considering you had dropped an F-bomb, gosh.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah, I saw it first. I was like, I don't want to say this if this is totally fake.
Well, dude, Evan, I think when you see the trade materialize that everybody wants to materialize, you're afforded a few curse words. Because I think what just happened is absolutely brilliant.
Well, that's the best time to use a curse word, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, here's the next question. If you're Brock Nelson, are you going, what the hell? Or are you like, let's ride?
I think he's all let's ride.
Yeah.
That guy's a winner.
He wants to win the cup. Plus, we don't know how they're going to set the lineup.
Is Dallas shaking in their space boots?
Well, Dallas ain't going to see him tonight.
No,
it's
but I mean,
we're talking playoffs.
I guess not. I guess the visa thing might be.
He's got to deal with immigration and all that fun shit.
Yeah. It's funny because when the Avs traded Rantanen, right? What was the famous Kadri line? You're supposed to keep the dogs.
Yeah.
Well, the Avs just went out and got one of their dogs back. And the best part of this for me personally, as somebody who likes this element of a hockey player, Nazem Kadri is a little bit of what the kids call, he's a little bitchy. He's he's a pest. He lives to be under your scope. Ezra, you got
I don't have
things?
anything confirmed, but I do have a report that Brennan Othman is going from New York to Calgary, and I wonder if somehow New York could be
Just
the
saw
third
that.
party.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe they're
Oh,
the
because
other
it's Calgary
team.
related. I see.
New York
The
has
other-
a retention slot available.
Sure. Okay, so it could be 3-team related. That makes
Hold on,
sense.
here we go.
New York
Elliot Friedman. No details, but I found this amazing. The trade was in the queue last I saw, waiting full details. So
he doesn't even have the
we
details.
don't even know.
either.
He doesn't even know. And he's the
Nobody
guy
knows,
who
but
wrote
so
it.
many different people have mentioned
Gosh
it.
darn
So we're
it,
not
Elliot.
just going off one report, just to be clear. Nobody's on
Yeah.
Twitter. A lot of insiders have also
So
said
just
it.
in case you
Yeah.
folks are just now joining the program, I'm going to add a banner, and it's going to be all caps.
We're calling
Nazem
this the after
Kadri.
party. This is the after party.
Yeah. So we already been doing this for an hour and 45 minutes.
I
And
have
it's just
not
been me
seen
going,
a single
"Bop
thing
it."
today, but that's okay.
Twist it. Pull it.
Jackie, I have to ask you because, like, usually you're our realist, is what I like to say, right? And it's been tough for the realist side of a fan if someone's like you and shares that. Does this satisfy you in terms of like pulling you back into the fight emotionally for this team? Because you had mentioned before, and even in the tone at the beginning of this episode, you were kind of frustrated with the story that is this team. Yeah.
I'll say one move does not change. My emotions and my opinions are not that fickle.
Okay.
Obviously it's an exciting thing. I think it's a good thing. We'll see what they had to give up.
Okay.
Like I said, if it's Val, I think that's a little more of a lateral move. But barring anything crazy, it's obviously an upgrade. It's obviously somebody that has those emotional ties. Somebody you're excited to watch, somebody you're excited to see. It's better than just getting another veteran. I mean, sure, I think it does up the excitement level. It's what I wanted. I wanted them to add a better player, a better forward.
Yep.
Like I said, barring, we'll see who they had to move out, but
I get to wear his jersey. I get to wear my jersey again.
That's assuming they give him 91 again.
Why? I mean, come on.
They have to.
It would be stupid not to, but but you get my point.
My jersey is
sure,
back.
it's a I don't see. We'll see the details, but I don't see why it wouldn't be a positive. It's certainly a positive.
Yeah.
So go Abs go. They had to give up everything.
I'm nervous about what they had to.
We'll see what it is. I'm definitely
to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to write this.
I mean, it has to be.
Right
it
now.
has to be a center, right? Because you have too many. If
probably,
not.
yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised it would be Drury and Burdakov.
I don't think they want Bardakov. I don't think he's on any one.
They need a real.
So here's my question. I have a question then for the group, and this is more of probably a general question for me. So I'm more informed, but then also our listeners is any of the more specifically Nick Waugh. Is he a guy who can also play on the wing?
Yeah, he played.
I think
right
anybody
wing
could play on the wing
for a long. Like the beginning of his career, he was a right wing.
Good point.
But considering he doesn't have a lot
carryover
of
to
speed,
next
that's
year.
not really the guy you want on the wing. You kind of want someone on the wing that can skate. So he probably wouldn't be the one on the wing, but you could put Kadri on the wing. I mean, you could do
Kadri could go on the
things.
wing, so you could have a situation where someone like like we've kind of mentioned Ross Colton, it could be like a Victor Olofsson, could be a Parker Kelly if they wanted to cash in on the career year that he's been having. It could be a Brenly for all we know. Like we have no clue, no idea.
I want to take this opportunity though, because we have 5,600 people watching our live stream right now. And I want to take the opportunity to say thank you to all of you who are tuning in. And please head to the website, milehighhockey.com, where you can find all of our written material. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube, because we go live weekly on Tuesdays most of the time. Most of the time it's on a Tuesday. Sometimes
I just want to
changes.
say real quick, LeBron's saying Kadri's on TSN right now. If anybody has access to
my God, let's pull that up. Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. I don't want to cut off your thank yous.
Oh, I don't have
TSN.
No, yeah. I want to thank
they stream on YouTube. I can get it.
I guess
and then
are they doing him a solid? Like, in a way, could the return be less because they're doing him a solid? Or are
It
we
could be
expecting
less
like an
because
enormous return?
well, it could be less because he held all the cards with that no move clause.
But I mean,
That's
were
the
they
big
that
thing.
mad about keeping him? I mean, he wasn't somebody that they were like
It just depends.
excited
Like
to
if
get rid of.
ownership tells you we expect him to be traded, then you might do it. You know what I mean? And then look at them and go, "This is all we could get. You told us we had to. Here we are." You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Well,
that's completely a hypothetical.
Kadri's going live on TSN right now, so
That's what Jackie just said. Yeah. So we're gonna tune into that. Ezra, you go ahead and listen. I'll be right.
I'm still looking to see if we see details.
Can you guys hear this? Do you want to?
I'd be worried about copyright stuff is all. But,
Okay. Well, we can't show the video, but you can just listen.
it's got to be. I wonder if even he knows the return of what he's getting traded for. I doubt it. I don't know how much players are involved in knowing that. But
in a couple of years, the Calgary Flames is going to be a popular destination to play in. But I just can't wait to get to Denver and get to work and see my buddies.
Well,
that was cute. Be with my buddies.
Take me through, like, how many times during the day,
I still can't believe this.
did you think it wasn't going to happen, and then it was going to happen, and then it wasn't going to happen again?
I mean, really, through the last few days, there's been,
sounding like Colton.
And it's just been an absolute.
That's not a surprise, Ross Colton.
One minute you think you're out of the door, and next minute you think you're staying, and the next minute you think you're out, and you're staying again. So it's a lot of flip flopping, but of course, these deals aren't easy to come by. You got to have two working parties, but at the end of the day, found out pretty late, and I was excited to say the least.
Have the texts started from the Nathan McKinnons of the world or anybody yet?
Oh yeah. I've been speaking to him for a little bit. Gabe, Kale, all the guys I obviously have a reputation with. So, like I said, I mean, like I related to them, I just can't wait to get into town and see them again.
It's going to be fun to watch you. A lot of depth at center for the Colorado Avalanche. I'm still a little bitter that you and O-Dog beat me in the golf match last year, but I'm still really happy for you today, Matt.
There goes TSN rambling about their own stuff.
Yeah, well,
I hate nothing more than golf chit chat. Like it's
agreed.
Oh, my son.
Okay, and I unfortunately do have to go back to day job stuff. But
that's fine.
I can't wait to hear what the return is.
Okay, so Savvy Rafkin, our old colleague, is saying Roscoe, 2 picks and a prospect.
Well, they don't have any prospects, so we'll see who they count.
Is that Brinley? Some people consider him a prospect. I don't know. I mean, he's in the NHL, but
I
some
personally
people say,
wouldn't, but I guess that's
Max Curran feels like the prospect to go, but we'll see what happens.
Well, he should, because I don't think they're going to have his rights anymore. Everyone's like, "Yeah, he's going to college." I'm like, that means he's gone.
All right, so here's what I want to do here real quick is I want to first of all fix you guys because my goodness, that's funny to look at. And I want to I just want to get like quick overall thoughts. I'm afraid to sign off right now, but I'm also afraid not to.
You can keep it going if you. I'm okay. Why don't you, like I've not
got
gonna eat
I've got half hour.
Okay, why don't you guys all keep it rolling? I'm gonna sign off from myself over here, and I want to thank Ezra who just left the program. Ezra Parter, please go give him a follow on his preferred social media. I want to thank the 3 of you who are currently holding it down and gonna hold it down for me as I tend to life and fix whatever's happening on the screen for you before I go. But Nazem Kadri is a Colorado Avalanche again. And
so are you coming back eventually, or is this just like?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to come back to end it, but this will just be my send off.
Okay. All right. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's totally fine. Please, like I mentioned earlier, head to the website milehighhockey.com, like and subscribe to this content. Be sure to follow Hockey Mountain High as well. Brennan and Evan are writing for that outlet. And also,
Evan is
just
writing as we speak.
Yeah, he's working currently. Just be excited, Avalanche fans, because when it just looked like we were about to be pretty upset that they didn't do anything, the one thing they could have done that was pretty much pleasing to anyone who watches hockey, much less an Avalanche fan, they did it right before we signed off, right before I gave myself a buzzer for the Avs not trading another roster player, which I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to give myself a ding for that before I leave, because I can't imagine they got Kadri without trading a roster player. If they did it, I will be pumped, but I don't see it happening. But I'm going to sign off. I'll leave it to you, Brennan, Evan, and Jackie. I'm Adrian Hernandez, the usual host of Mile High Hockey Lab. Thank you to everybody. I will see you next time. Later, y'all.
All right, yeah.
I can't believe this. This is unbelievable.
The inmates are running the asylum now. You're with us now.
Yeah, I'm obviously busy writing, but I'm trying my best, obviously, to kind of keep an eye on the situation and what's going on.
Yeah, I'm looking too. When it comes
I've got my tweet deck up. So
yeah, if we're looking at other, I think we've already talked about Brennan Offman. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. Going from the Rangers to Calgary.
I think he's still a decent prospect. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if there's some sort of 3-team deal involving the Rangers, it seems like Eric Engels has said that there's no trades for the Canadians today. I know we kind of touched a little bit on that.
I'm a little surprised. I thought they were poised to add something.
Yeah, they definitely did seem like that. And I know that we had discussed a little bit about them maybe playing a part in this Nazem Kadri trade a little bit, maybe with like retention.
I think there was a rumor he was going there.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think we're all kind of sitting and waiting and seeing what's going to happen with this Kadri return that just came in about half an hour ago from Elliot Friedman.
It looks like from one of his comments that he didn't even know that the deadline passed, and he didn't even know that it happened. So
yeah, because it was in the queue.
I mean, he should know.
Well,
it doesn't have to be public. Like, where's your agent?
There's only so much they're gonna know, but I mean, it's like sometimes it's just insider information with like Darren Dreger, or however you say his last name. You know, he knew about quote unquote the St. Louis Buffalo trade, but it was just needing the player approval, and then of course the player's like, nope, I'm not gonna go there. What are you talking about?
And so, Buffalo won yesterday, so good for them.
Yeah, Buffalo is there. It's just all the heated rivalry. They're saying, you know, it's like, yeah, Buffalo sucks. So now that's why Buffalo's good.
Hey, I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of happy that Buffalo is starting to turn things around personally.
Yeah,
but
definitely, it's a good vibe.
They
out
have
here
good players on that team.
They
like
do.
They're not going to win the cup, but I mean that's absolutely
not this
cool.
Year, no.
If they
So I do want to propose a question to the group here while we're waiting for this Kadri return. Is that the initial reason why the Avs decided not to sign Kadri after the 2022 Stanley Cup win was that he was going to be expensive, and they already had to choose between the likes of Valeri Nichushkin and him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously ended up choosing Nichushkin. Nichushkin has done, you know, he's kind of gone down his own path at this point, and there's been lots of turmoil around that situation, which hasn't, you know, luckily popped up at all this year. But now you're having Kadri come in to this coming back to the team. Obviously great for the feels, for the vibes, all that good stuff, for the locker room and for the fan base. I think that's kind of been shown already today. But when you think about this too, from a business perspective, Kadri's going to have a big cap hit. Even if Calgary is ending up retaining, you know, upwards of 50%, I think that's still a $3.5 million contract that the Avs are going to be eating. And you still have to think about signing, you know, obviously Cale Makar, you got Jack Drury in here, Sam Alinsky possibly down the line. The goalies, like, we just don't know, right? How does that affect things? Obviously, it's really great for the here and now, but for the future,
I mean,
where does that things lie?
I really think they've punted the future. I mean, with the cap going up so much, you should be able to afford like depth contracts. Like they're not going to be able to sign any big contract. If you're talking about ramifications, can they re-sign Lehkonen? Can they? Some of these other guys are coming up. You know, that might be the casualty. But then also with the cap going up so much, it's hard to say that they're really going to be in a bind because every other team out there can just spend willy-nilly. It's just funny that the Avs have to use like the KO contract as an excuse so much.
Well, and I've had this kind of conversation with Kevin McDonald and Chris McFarland, you know, while I was in the press box late last year, and asked him, I was like, so how are you guys going to be approaching drafts if you're giving away all your picks? And they're like, well, we're going to be going after more college free agents and things like that. So I
that's
think
great in theory.
yeah. I mean, it's a great in theory, but nothing against like Chase Bradley or Sam Malinsky or anything like that. But you can only get so many good post-college players that perform and then are able to make that jump to the NHL.
I would say with that, they need to figure out how to graduate players. Like, even if you look at O'Connor and Malinsky's successes, which obviously they are, there was 5 years between them. So if you're basically getting one player like that every 5 years, which is great to have, but you need more than that. But I mean, they haven't cared for so long. They have capable players. They don't graduate them. So it doesn't matter what they say. There just is no path. There's no strategy. There's no, hey, we're going to get this guy from point A to point B. So yeah, that's absolutely going to be a factor, but it's been a factor for a long time. And, you know, they kind of mitigated that with their RFAs when they brought in Taves and Lehkonen and Burakovsky. That was a good strategy to kind of get some younger players that were devalued by other teams, but you have to have assets for that, and they don't have that anymore. So I don't know how they're unfortunately
giving all the assets
moving forward because you don't even have the assets to make those moves, which is kind of what I would have wanted to see as far as a building strategy. But
it's the college free agents, so like you're getting Posh and you're getting Chase Bradleys and you're getting Sam Malinsky's and things like that, and
one will work out every 5 years, which is their hit rate. So they might have another guy by 2030. Okay, but you know,
you got to have someone who fills those fourth lines.
Well, fourth line's easy. You can sign and use anybody you want. Doesn't matter. But a real impact player, is that coming from the organization? I doubt it.
Okay. Raj is reporting a conditional first, Olofsson, Max Curran, conditional second. That's and
Arif
he hasn't gotten a word on retention.
Arif says 20%, but I don't know what his source is.
Well, here's the thing too.
Kiprios says 20%, so we'll see retention.
The thing too that we have to think about here for the Avalanche is that that's their only first in the next 3 years is that 2028 first, and it seems like that's going to be part of that deal. First in 2028 going to Calgary,
and then the 2029 would just be devalued next year. Like, they can trade it, but they're not getting full value for it.
Well, but Nas is signed through the next 3 years, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But I'm saying there's going to be another deadline. There's going to be another season. I know it's hard to believe, but there's going to be another season. They're going to try to win the cup, and they. And what are you going to do at that deadline? It doesn't matter. It's all about this year, but that's what was said last year. And that was said the year before. And that was said the year before. So, you know, I mean, are they saying this is it? And some people would say even if they do, that's okay. Because they do have a good chance this year. But at some point, we have to accept that, like, you've blown your wad and you're not going to be in as strong of a position next year. Maybe that's okay, but I think we have to accept that that's something that they might be doing.
Yeah, so to put a numeric value on this, because I know that that's going to interest people, is that the 20% retention on that contract for Nas comes out to $5.6 million for the Avs, and I think they had 6.3, something like that left available. So that fits in really nicely. For
So yeah,
so
5.6 going forward. That's definitely a number. I mean, that's something that they're going to have to look at. With Colton not moving, tells me Calgary didn't want him. Which if they wanted him.
Okay,
Brennan
so the
might have
Eagles
something.
also just tweeted out, we're also on the edge of our seats. So this may be a sign that someone who's currently on the roster is going.
Like from the Eagles?
Maybe they're
like
just saying they're excited too. Maybe they're just saying they're excited too.
Their admin just posted that on the Eagles Twitter.
And I'll say about if it's really Curran, like his rights were expiring. I know people are going to be upset. I'm telling you, he would have been gone June 1st. So
yeah, I don't think he was going to sign
a lot of
anyways.
the others. I personally like Christian Humphreys better than Curran. I know that's nobody agrees with that one. So
I actually agree with that.
I put up a poll and like 4% said Humphreys was better.
Wait. My head just exploded. Me and Jackie agree.
Yeah, there you go.
Holy.
Yeah. So if it's Curran, the prospect that they moved, that's probably like the best case scenario for as far as prospect moving. But Olofsson, so that if that's true, that's funny because he doesn't get his reunion with Nick Waugh. But that's fine. I think the Avs are more than happy getting rid of him. I guess I'm a little disappointed they couldn't move Ross Colton because he's overpaid. It doesn't work. That would have been ideal that he was the one going, but I mean, it is what it is.
He may have had Calgary on the list as no trade.
That's true. And they could try to move him this summer as well, but that's definitely going to be the piece that doesn't fit moving forward. Like, if you want to have any hope of re-signing Lehkonen, well, I guess he'd only have one more year left anyway, but hope of signing anyone next summer, I guess I should say, probably need to move Ross Colton.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could also depend too. Like we've kind of talked about however much the cap goes up. I don't know what that estimation is at the moment. But
I think it's $20 million in the next 2 years. I think it's so however that shakes out. I think it's like 8 or 9 jump next year, and then the rest somewhere in that neighborhood.
All right, I am back. I lied. What'd I miss?
We might have a return. It's not super confirmed though.
Okay.
They're saying conditional first, second, Olofsson, and Max Curran. Was that and 20% retained?
So I feel like the retention and the draft pick I think seem pretty set. I would imagine because that's coming from all sorts of reporters. I think we're just waiting on the players because I think that's something that's still missing here, and I think that.
So okay, so say that one more time for me because I kind of missed.
So, a conditional first, which would probably be the 2028 first. A second, I would imagine that would be one of their 2027 second. They don't even have a 2028 second, so that has to be a 2027 second. Olofsson and Max Curran for 20% retained.
Wow. So far, so good.
Which would leave him at 5.6 moving forward, which is a little pricey, but
I mean,
that tells me that
it's about what they wanted him for, probably, though, right?
Yeah. I'm a little surprised they couldn't move Colton, but like was suggested, maybe he had Calgary on the list, or maybe that made too much sense for that to work. But they're probably gonna have to. I can't imagine they don't trade him this summer then, but that's okay.
I did just have a absolutely horrible thought, and I feel like it's 99.9% not going to happen, but I just never know. What if this falls through?
It does. It's in the queue.
It was in the queue, so
okay.
Yeah. I mean, so and also Nas was on TSN, so I think
that's true.
They wouldn't go that far if it was like, whoops. Like
that's
the fax machine. Any Broncos fan remembers the fax machine.
So I'm just going to stay here in the corner, though, and I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. So I'll be right back.
Guys, so far, just about everything I thought was going to happen has happened, and that's a great feeling. The only thing that hasn't happened is the Val Nichushkin thing I had a tingling
See that
about.
we don't know that yet.
Yeah, we
I
don't
don't
know
want
that
him
yet.
to be gone. I
No,
really don't think.
I'm
they
just
get
telling
better
you that's where my
getting rid
tingles
of
and
him.
jingles are still sitting right now. Because I'm worried when we do, because it's not done. That can't be it. If that's it, oh my fleece. So there's something else, right?
I do think you did miss this, Ado, that when you were gone, that we talked about who knows if this is Calgary just doing him a
Are they
solid.
doing Naz a solid? Like, I don't
Sure.
think they were like eager to get rid of him. I don't think he was someone that like had to go. But I think once he decided that he wanted to go, or that he was open to it, or however you want to put it, I think they were trying to appease him also.
I mean, I could see that for sure. I also think it might be, again, like an expectation thing from above the management, where it's like, we want you to move this guy, and we're really not necessarily. I mean, obviously, do your best, but it's more about like the future kind of the club and getting to the whole breaking down the roster. Selling it off for parts, basically. You accelerated the process just now in Calgary. That's why they were so keen on the picks and prospects. What's so funny is the trades that I was coming up with, so far at least, we're sending a lot more. And most of the people in rebuttal were like, Calgary never agrees to that. What you don't understand is they have
doing
he
a
has a
solid.
no
Like,
move.
if
Yeah.
Crosby ever gets moved, it's not going to be like this mind-blowing return.
All-time get. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it's not how it
going to
works.
be doing him a solid. It's going to be getting some pieces, but like when Patrick Kane got traded, like none of these big. There comes to a point where you're doing a guy a favor, and then you're not doing it for the maximum return. Could they have gotten more? Could they have got more from, like, say, Montreal or whoever was interested? Maybe, but I do also think that his wishes were considered here.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, with 7,000 live viewers, real quick.
Pierre
go ahead, Brandon,
LeBrun has confirmed 20%.
20% retention. Cool. So about what they wanted to pay for him. Coincidentally,
that's true.
The
that's
biggest
probably what
thing
they wanted
to
to pay him 3 years ago. That's probably true.
That's the biggest
I
thing
will
for
say
me.
I know we had talked about the Olofsson and Max Curran being traded. Good friend of the show, Ryan O'Hara, who's obviously Hockey News, but then also with Mile High Hockey, is also saying the same thing. So that makes me feel pretty at least a little more confident that that's actually what it could be. I think he's the first Avs reporter, I think, that has shared that this could be the return or what the Avs are giving up, rather. So who knows? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
But yeah, we'll see.
The Colorado Avalanche this is Ryan as well. The Colorado Avalanche were Rocky Marciano going into the deadline. Adding Kadri, Waugh, and Kulak is the equivalent of giving Rocky steroids. This team is absolutely stacked now. Is that your guys' takeaway? Are we sitting here looking at this team and going, yes, here's that depth
it makes
we
them
had
better.
in
Yeah, I mean,
2022.
unless we hear something different. Like I said, if it's foul, I think that's a lateral move. But in general, yes, I think it does make them better.
Yeah, so hearing the Avs have traded 2 draft picks plus Victor Olofsson and prospect Max Curran. And he also added Nichushkin not included. Got it. Okay. Ryan has in that tweet as well, Nichushkin not included. So that's the big one there.
Says a Avs player first third for Kadri, and Avs retain 20%. So we'll see. There does seem to be some ambiguity here, which could be Olofsson, but we don't know what the true source of what that package we've been talking about is. So I guess we won't call that gospel. The 20% seems to be pretty fully reported at this point. We'll see about the return.
Do we know what the other second round or the second pick is? I might have just missed it. You all were talking about it. It's a 2028 first round and then something else.
I thought it was a second originally, but Pagnotta has first and a third.
First and a third.
So Raj from Altitude, which sure, conditional first Olofsson, Curran, and a conditional second. Only thing he's gotten word on, no word on retention, but we've confirmed the 20% retention. So man,
I
if
guess
that's
a
seriously
conditional
it,
second and a
holy
third could be
smokes.
the same thing.
If you manage to keep Nuke and add Kadri and keep Brindley, that was the way to do. Like, that was what we wanted. That was the only way I saw. That's why I was so convinced
Is
they were
Brindley
done.
still on this team though? I mean, we're adding
Yes.
another forward.
As of right now, Brindley is.
Would he be in the lineup? I haven't done the math.
He'd be a scratch.
But
That's
I mean,
my guess.
He's your best.
But yes, in the organization.
Pseudo prospect. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
It'd be nice to give him time now, because you can. And then if you need him in the playoffs, you know he has.
Hey, Friedman comes in. Colorado is Kadri and a fourth. Doesn't say
Nice.
what year. To Calgary, it's first in 28. There's a second rounder, Victor Olofsson, Max Curran, and they retain 20%.
Who is this from? Oh, here we go.
Friedman.
Yeah, I see it
Elliot
from Friedman.
Friedman.
Holy cow.
I mean, I have one choice.
But he doesn't say specifically like what year that fourth is.
The second has to be 2027. That's like the only one they have. If it's conditional or not, we'll see. It'd be funny if they got the fourth back for this year, because they're gonna have a whole draft of like fourths, fifths, and sevenths.
But I guess it's the best of our fourths.
At least it's.
I wouldn't be surprised it's the fourth this year, because then that knocks out all 4 rounds of the first.
No. Oh. We get the fourth.
Oh,
this
yeah. Okay.
This was all of Avalanche country from.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, no, keep going. Sorry.
At 1:30, all of Avalanche country. Well, I guess it was maybe like, it was like 1:30 still. All of Avalanche country was
check
doing
your
this.
email.
But now all of Avalanche country is doing this. We should give roses to Mr. Chris McFarland, because in my pollster ahead of the deadline, the question was, can he pull it off? Is there more?
Hold on. Sorry. The trade is now official. The Avalanche have sent it to their media relations. It is officially here. It's officially the Colorado Avalanche announced today that the team has acquired forward Nazem Kadri and a 2027 fourth round draft pick from the Calgary Flames in exchange for forward Victor Olofsson, the rights to an unsigned draft pick Max Curran, a conditional 2028 first round draft pick, and a conditional 2027 second round draft pick. So there's your full details.
It'd be nice to hear the conditions, but
holy smokes!
Oh, I'm sure the conditions will come out in a few minutes.
Well, then, did they really need to spend a first on Waugh?
Well, but I mean, you can just look at it as a whole body of work now, though, Jackie, and think like, here's what we gave up and here's what we got, and it kind of makes sense now because you didn't,
But then do you really need Waugh? Then that kind of makes that's a bit, I don't know.
I mean, so it's 2 firsts, right? 2 firsts, a second, and a fifth, and a fourth, right? Is what you gave up. And Max Curran and Olofsson.
2 seconds.
I mean, in hindsight, now that Waugh trade's 2020. I think the Avs. I feel like it's safe to say the Avs felt like the Kadri was kind of out of reach at that point.
Yeah.
But now here we are 1 day later, and that has changed drastically.
Well, and okay, so someone's going to go play the wing, right?
Yeah, so
I didn't trade a center.
Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out on this. As my okay. So Kiwi Ranta is going to be back in like a few days.
Was he supposed to come
Maybe
back
tonight?
I don't think they ruled him out for tonight. Yeah. I didn't hear exactly how Ben said it, but
they said he was out of a non-contact, but I think he was out. He's supposed to be out a week at minimum. And then if LOC is skating with the team and technically he's not in a non-contact, no, he can be back soon too. But they usually play on the same side, so that's my problem. So there's two wingers right there.
Unbelievable, man. I can't believe that Calgary agreed to this.
I think a part of it is doing him a favor. I think.
Well, Calgary probably wanted to get rid of the money.
Yeah, but I don't. There's definitely players where their contracts are toxic. I don't think Kadri was to that point where it was they're dumping him. So the way I look at it more is doing him a favor.
Yeah,
is part of it. And
to
why
be
it was
fair,
so
Jackie,
late, and also why it was so at the very, very last second.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they were negotiating with another team.
No,
they had to decide
and
to just pull the trigger on it.
And to your point, like I'm sure when he went to Calgary, they weren't like knocking on the door per se, but they were a competitive team, and I think they probably are like, look, we know we didn't kind of amount to what you were hoping we'd be kind of around you as well. So let's get you back. We know you're probably on this is your last probably contract. Let's get you back to Colorado, get you another crack at it.
Because I remember the tweets were that they talked to him and then he was open to leaving. Like, remember, like there was always kind of like, well, he's not asking to leave. And then they said he was open to leaving. And then like within the last few days, it was, remember that tweet where it was like, he'd be very upset if he doesn't go. And so that was like a big change in tone for me.
That must have been when he found out Colorado and Calgary were close, right?
Right.
So he's like,
exactly.
if they don't make that happen, then I'm going to be pissed because they're close. So, man, I'm just
the last minute
so
nature
excited.
just makes me think that like both parties are like, we want to do this for Nas. Let's just do it.
Well, so let's see. They play tomorrow. No, they play Sunday at noon. I highly doubt that he'd be in the lineup for that one.
I don't know. They somehow got Waz visa magic to work, guys, so you never know. They have had trouble in the past. Whenever they've gotten somebody from Calgary, I don't know if that makes any difference, but when they have gotten guys from Calgary in the past, that's taken a while. But like I said, they got Waz somehow squared away to be able to play today. So
I have a bit of news. Sunday will be the first game that I'm allowed to cover as a credentialed member of the media at the Avalanche game. So my first game as a credentialed media member will be Kadri's first game back, likely, which is
hopefully, knock on wood.
Amazing. That is so cool. So cool.
First off, congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
And then two, I know that there were questions about obviously immigration, and that they got it done quick with Nicholas Waugh. I was surprised to see him on the ice this morning at morning skate, and that he's seemingly going to go tonight. And that I don't know, maybe it'll be the same thing for Kadri, come Sunday. But again, we'll see. But truly unbelievable. And we see Ezra's here now. Do you know the full details of this, Ezra, or not yet?
I just saw them, and I was on a work meeting, and the meeting ended, and I was like, okay, let's see the trade, and I was so happy. And my fiance, I was like, oh my god, it's so good, it's so good. And my fiance was like, did you just, I'm not gonna say it on this spot, yeah, it's so good. I'm so happy.
It's
amazing.
A good deal. It is.
It's an amazing deal. It's a good bit of business. It's for the Avalanche for sure. And honestly, like, I don't think if you're a Calgary fan, you should be all that disappointed, because I think not trading him is worse for them. So
I mean, they still would have had him. I mean, it's also 2028 first. If you're a Calgary fan, I mean, you don't really care about a 2028 pick.
Yeah.
But like I said, you could have still kept him and gotten a better return. We know that this isn't about maximizing return, and I guess if they accept that, then they understand what was going on.
Yep.
I mean, anytime you can trade a guy who's not going to be on your team when you're actually competing for a first-round pick in any year, you should be happy.
Yep. That's a good point. Well, I think now that we know the details, I'm not sure much else for us to cover. I mean, it's crazy. I really don't even. I'm kind of speechless at this point. Which, as you know, if you watch the program, that doesn't really happen. Usually, Ado speaks too much, and we have to reel him in a little bit. But 7,200 of you right now tuned in live to the Nazem Kadri trade deadline after party. So thank you very much for joining us. Do you guys want to have any closing thoughts before we end this here podcast?
I just want to say, I know that we had kind of talked about and answered the question, from the voice talkback machine,
Yes.
whatever that thing's called, about if the Avalanche are primed and ready to compete for a Stanley Cup. The answer was already yes, but now that you've done and gone this deal for Nazem Kadri, the answer is an even more resounding yes. This is absolutely spectacular, getting the band back together without having to give up as much as people probably would have thought they needed to. And now you have obviously a ton of options on how you can kind of build this lineup. Whether it's Kadri up at 2C, Nelson playing a more defensive role at 3C like he did at the Olympics. If it's, Kadri as a 3C and you still have Ross Colton on the wing, Nichushkin moving up and down somewhere, Lehkonen moving up and down somewhere, Landeskog, you name it. The options are near endless right now for the Avalanche up top.
Yep.
I still think that there are still arguably some concerns on the defensive depth. They've addressed it, I think, to the best of their ability. But listen, this is just an unbelievable opportunity for the Avalanche, and I really hope they don't squander it.
Yep. Well put, my friend. That is very well put. I don't even
I think
have
that's
anything
good
to add to
closing.
that.
I think we should leave it at that.
That's great way to put it.
Hold on. Were we still going to do bold predictions, by the way? Or is that ship sailed?
Let's just wait till Tuesday because this is just too much. Let's just wait till Tuesday for our normal episode, which, folks, the 7,000 of you, please come watch us again on Tuesday. It'll be awesome. We will talk about how awesome the Avalanche are now that they have this unbelievably forward deep team. Now, really, the only question is, can we all stay healthy? Well, let's just knock on a billion pieces of wood all at the
3:45, right? We want to tell
Yes.
everybody when and where. Same place, 3:45 Tuesday.
That's right. When and where. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie, you are always a helpful person. All three of you, all four of you have been very helpful today, especially with my technological difficulties. So thank you for hanging in there with you.
Might be the last time in the garage. As an aside, when the iPod first came out, I used to have to sit in the garage to get Wi-Fi. So that's what that reminded me of.
Stay out of the garage, dude.
Sorry.
The garage is definitely retired. But on behalf of my esteemed colleagues, Brennan Vogt, Ezra Parter, Jackie K, and Evan Liu, my name is Adrian Hernandez. This has been the 2026 Avalanche Special Trade Deadline version, but now we're just calling it, we're probably going to change the title on YouTube to the Nazem Kadri After Party, baby. So until next time, stay happy, Avalanche fans, and of course, go Avs.
Pop it. Thank you for tuning into the Mile High Hockey Lab.